All right, welcome in everybody. Ian is just coming back from the back entrance there. He'll be here in 2 seconds. Hopefully everyone can see and hear me okay. Let me know. You guys have any issues with the stream? Is that you, big guy? There he is. We just
live?
Yeah, we're live. Just making sure everything's okay for now. Guys, let us know if the stream is okay. We're just getting set up. We got some new software this week. We got some new cameras this week. Lots going on. So if you guys can chime in and let me know if it's okay, that would be great. Sound is good, Chris says. Thanks for that. Yeah, we got some interesting stuff going on this week. We've got the good cameras working on me. We got that camera going. Little side angle. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but there it is. Yeah, welcome. If you guys have any questions specifically for me for the next couple minutes, go for it before the big guy comes on. He's got a lovely red shirt on today. Wait till you see this thing. Sean's asking about TaylorMade not going to the PGA show. It was a little strange, Sean, to be honest, but there was plenty of other stuff going on, to be honest with you. We had a whole lot of other stuff going on, so it was a little strange, but Callaway's booth was huge, tons of different stuff going on, so we didn't really notice that much. Chris asking about my neck, thank you for that. My neck is a lot better this week. Way, way, way better. Resting it this week, not hitting any balls. Won't be hitting balls till next week, but we do have a bunch of videos queued up, so you guys will have you'll have your usual amount of stuff, but yeah, things are progressing. New Apex iron reviews, yes, we'll do those pretty soon. Bradley's asking about what I'm working on with Larry. You got to ask Larry. Check out Larry's. Well, we did a couple live lessons. Oh, look at this shirt. Check out live lessons that I did with Larry a few months ago, Bradley. But yeah, we'll do a few new ones with him soon. I'm due. I've just been trying to rehab my neck injury, which is much better. Just telling the guys. Improvements. Significant improvements.
I've got to get you back on track. I think you broke your body getting to 180 ball speed. I think that's what happened. I
broke my body doing this, working like an idiot.
I sacked the work.
I know. This is my work now. This is my life. How about this? Feeling this?
Oh,
look at this little
set up here.
There you
go. Gee, where are we coming from, folks?
I just set it up for the hell of it. To be honest with you, that's a sharp shirt. I like it.
Well, Galvin.
All right.
What's going on?
So here we are. Lots of people. Oh yeah, we got lots of people on.
A lot of people want to know if you've been working a different fitness routine. I see that a lot.
Yes. Well,
what have you been doing?
By different, the difference being I used to do no fitness. And then in November, I started doing fitness. I did nothing for the last few years, and then November just started doing some, I might just call it a general weightlifting regimen. I wouldn't say to begin with. I didn't do anything groundbreaking, just try to get myself back to a base level. Then I was working with Larry's fitness guy. His last name is escaping me. He's also named Ian. So that he call it more dynamic motion, I guess, kind of stuff. A little bit strength, but also a little bit of speed. So,
do you think any of the lifting contributed towards hurting your neck? Because I do.
I probably think it did. Yeah. Well, I think it was certainly a contributing factor. It was a number of things, but yes.
And when I say I do, I mean for myself. Like when I got injured, it was definitely as a result of lifting. Which and I really don't believe that the two go hand in hand well at all. I think overhead lifting and golf do not go. No. I think if you want to do leg stuff and do a lot of presses and squats and stuff, definitely very helpful.
I think you got to go light on the military press. I think you got to go light on I think for me, I probably made it worse bench pressing. I think that's where a little bit of this came. Again, I had an existing neck injury, but yeah, I definitely made it worse.
Sure.
And then I made it worse coming in here swinging as fast as I can.
Swinging like a madman.
A lot of people asking about my short game this week. It is not bad.
We don't worry about short games.
We don't worry about short game. No, people were asking like, you must have a terrible short game kind of comments, which is a fair question. It doesn't have a terrible short game. It needs work, but I probably hit the ball a bit better than my short game is. Mad Dad's asking background and production video editing. Yes, that's what I do for a living.
That's the real job.
Believe it or not, this is not my real job. It's a fun job, though.
You're +5 at that.
Yeah, that's what I do. All right, let's get into... No, this is a trim beard, Jacob. A light trim. All right. The man's here. Let's get into some questions. Joe likes your shirt.
Nice. Try the view. It is red. I know.
It's nice.
It's a little more red than I'm used to, but I like it. Tiger red, I know.
Tiger was okay yesterday. Man, he can't putt. I felt terrible for him. His putting was so bad. What was that?
I don't know what his deal is with.
He missed 5-footers where the ball legitimately. Like again, I can't criticize. I'm not the best putter either, but he legitimately missed a 5-footer by a cup.
He's a funny one. He's a horses for courses kind of guy, and you can see that throughout his career. So I mean, obviously, I think that was the first time he'd played there.
He never played in Mexico, period, professionally, and he hadn't played at elevation, they said, in like 20 years. But his ball striking was so good.
Well, I mean, his ball striking was good, but I think Brando Shamley made such an interesting point is about he's playing the most conservative golf literally anyone has ever seen.
He was the shortest off the tee because he was hitting so many irons.
It's horrendous. I mean, his stats and stuff look great, but like you can't compete with Dustin Johnson if you're hitting in from. I mean, I know Tiger's looking at it going, okay, 200 yards. Yeah. That's maybe an 8-iron
Still
or a 7.
Still an 8-iron though. It's not a wedge.
Like they're flicking in wedges and driving greens. I mean, what's that? In the third day, he drives it onto the first green, drains the putt.
Second green, you can drive that. 12th green, you can drive that. Yeah, no, I know.
No.
The only person that I think it didn't suit was Rory, because he kept driving it to like 60 yards, and he couldn't hit that shot, which, to be fair, is a hard shot. But yes, we switched seats. It's so that my neck can go this way and not this way.
Oh, really?
Yep. Also, I was thinking about this. You watch a talk show. The person who's the expert slash the... I know you hate this stuff. The person who's the guest, the expert, whatever, sits on the right, camera right. Jimmy Fallon or whatever goofball interviews sits here. That's how they do it. Am I right?
I've never paid attention to it. But when you say it that way, like
that's how it is.
Fallon
Watch
on
Jimmy
the
Fallon.
TV,
He's sitting here, couch is here, and that's where the person sits. And that's all we're going to say about it. But it's mostly because my neck feels better turning that way.
Have we done the Ping Eye 500 iron review? Yes, long time
ago. Long time ago. Do a little search, Glenn. There's one up there for sure. Check it out.
We are getting a ton of people asking about this PXG driver, which is so surprising to me because I still, to be honest, believe that...
It's all price-based, isn't it? Because it's not expensive anymore.
It's not expensive anymore. It's still the most expensive.
But less.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll do it. All right. Let's get into some nitty-gritty for you.
Go for it.
So someone who is about 105 miles an hour with the driver, you're going to have to assume a lot of variables here, but what kind of spin, launch, and apex numbers are you looking for, starting with the driver? 105 miles an hour swing.
I mean, if we're talking about optimal...
Like, let's go good balance of distance and...
Optimal functional stuff. Yeah. I think at 105 miles an hour, you're looking to launch it about 13, 14 degrees and keep it in the low 2s.
Okay. Those are good general numbers.
Moving
up to 3-wood, your launch will come down. It'll stay the same.
Yeah, launch will stay about the same because your angle of attack is going to change. So your delivered loft is going to be fairly close to the standard loft on the club itself.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like with a driver and a 3-wood, you put one in the tee and one in the ground. You'll pretty much deliver. You actually might deliver more loft with the driver than you will with the 3-wood. Yeah, because you can hit up on it. So. yeah, I mean, if we are the same, that kind of 13, 14 launch, but spinning it in the kind of low threes, we're golden.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that last week a little, didn't we? But the spin rates, driver low twos, fairway with low threes. Out yet.
Okay. Was it ping LSD?
Might have been somewhere we said.
Unless we said it in the Callaway video, because that one's not out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had some very good notes on that. From Sean. You know what I forgot you can do? Is put these up. There we are. So Sean is saying thank you very much, and thank you, obviously. Following your content helped me move from a demo tech to fitting at the Kingdom. Okay, so he's talking about Kingdom is TaylorMade thing?
Yeah.
So Sean went in for the big experience. That's awesome, Sean, and thank you so much for supporting us.
Good job, Sean.
That's very much appreciated. Love to hear that.
Pal.
Had a lot of really good comments over the weekend. People basically saying, whatever, watch the channel for a few months. I'd never been fit. I took the time. I budgeted for it. I went and got fit. Great experience. Thanks for that. So I think it's nice to hear.
Yeah, I think people are feeling more educated than when they're going in to get fit now, which is nice.
But it's also, I think you've pushed a lot of people just to do it. So, obviously you can make a big impact on someone's game here, but I think the widespread impact of influencing people to get fit and get fit and ask the right questions has been having a nice widespread effect. Someone's just sent us something because the screen is going crazy and it's flashing. Whisker, that is very, very nice of you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Whisker.
That will go well towards more production upgrades like you're seeing today, so thank you very much for that. We very much appreciate it. Joe, wow. Joe, thank you. That is extremely well appreciated.
That's incredible.
That's not necessary at all, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe, that again will
Joe and Whisker, I mean, there's been...
You guys are like old pals.
They're the hardcore.
I know.
They're the hardcore TXG faithful.
When you feel like you know someone that you've never actually met, that you are a regular. So thank you so much for that, Joe. That is extremely kind. Extremely kind.
We'll owe you a pint for that one.
We owe you a couple pints. A couple of fancy drinks. All right. And I think Joe asked a question, so let me make sure I find it. Pardon us for a moment, guys. Lots of people asking about new grips on your demo matrix. You've got Lambkin sonars. Some people have like a sharp eye. Someone commented that in a video where there was no close-ups, even close. Someone's like, "Oh, Lambkin sonar."
Still got a few pures up there.
Yep.
I think one thing that we have no problem doing in a fit if somebody walks in though is making the grip size to suit them. Because there's some people that Lambkin sonar, for example, maybe they don't wear a glove. And maybe their hands perspire a little bit. Lambkin sonar is a soft, sticky grip, but it's
got some tack to it.
It's got some tack if you have a fairly dry hand, but if your hands tend to sweat a little bit, it actually goes quite slippy.
Yeah, I have to wear a glove for sure.
Yeah,
I don't mind them though.
No, I like them. Yeah, I mean, but we have no problem putting another grip on for someone if they come in for a fit.
Yeah.
I've got a guy coming in this week, Rob, who's big guy, plays jumbo grips. I'm already kind of prepping the team for when he comes in. Let's get some jumbo grips looked out. Let's make sure we've got a team member available. So as I pick shafts, they can go prepare shafts and stuff.
I love that.
We got to get ahead of the game for customers who need that special attention.
Well, you're already ahead of the game, but that would be another step, wouldn't it? Okay, here's Joe's question. Gun to your head.
Oh, jeez.
No McDonald's for a year or play an ill-fitted driver for a year. What a question.
Well, you played an ill-fitted driver for more than a year, so you'd probably go with ill-fitted driver, I would think.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
You can't...
Love McDonald's.
Oh, you can't escape a Rotten Ronnie's for a year.
How ill-fitted, though, Joe? That's the real question. But you know what?
What if we said...
This is great.
What if we said 170 ball speed?
Mm-hmm.
It's really slumming it.
Mm-hmm.
14 longe, 3600 spin.
So hitting moon balls that go nowhere into the wind,
and carvy ones as well.
Slices. So
Both
don't enjoy golf or
miserable off the tee. The rest of your game's sharp, but miserable off the tee or no McDonald's for a year.
I'll go to Wendy's. Case closed.
Yeah.
Case closed. All right, let's get back on track. That was funny though. Good question, Joe.
They're knowing you too well by now.
Completely necessary, says. That's very nice of you either way. All right. That's an interesting question from Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen this before. You ever have someone come in with a training in? I gotta get a water while you answer.
Yeah, we've had customers, Brandon, come in and kind of create like a little super station for themselves. Yeah, like putting down like alignment rods, and some people might put like the swing. Remember Swing Guide? Remember the Swing Guide, the little yellow plastic thing?
There's one in my garage.
Right, so they'd put like a Swing Guide on, especially if they start struggling a little bit. And so yeah, I've definitely seen it. I try to encourage it not to happen.
Because it doesn't belong in the fit.
That belongs in a practice session.
That belongs when you are working on the swing that you hopefully bring here.
Imagine you stuck on the,
It's a great
Tour
question.
Striker Smart Ball and started trying to test different shafts, and
but it happens.
it's not simulating it.
So the reason I think this is a good question, because it sort of raises the larger issue. Are people overthinking their ability, and are they trying to produce perfect? Yeah, are they trying to make perfect swings for you because they, for many different reasons, they don't want you to think they suck. They don't want to get fit for the wrong clubs.
For sure.
How do you address that?
You just have to reassure them that there's nothing they're going to turn up with that we haven't seen before. No matter what, how good it is. Listen, you can turn up and have the best day of your life. Never struck it better. You're still not going to be close to the best we've ever seen. You can turn up and have a shocker of a day.
That's a good point.
Still not going to be the worst we've ever seen.
Yep.
So
that's a good point.
We can
There's always someone better than you. Someone's always had a better day or a worse day, and so it's about. You always say it's about establishing a pattern more so than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, most of the patterns are pretty established in terms of angle of attack, in terms of their aim tendencies. The variables will be face control on the day, maybe a little bit of strike pattern, maybe if their weight distribution's kind of shifting around a little bit. There's certain things that change, but, have some trust in us that we've seen enough swings that we can navigate all that stuff.
Yeah, and there's one thing that some people have heard but not everyone has heard, so I think it's worth mentioning again. There are times when you tell someone, come back another day.
Yeah, it's just not your day. You take a customer who's shanking it or doing something like that, and you go, look, listen, even if we get you back on track, and I could spend 10-15 minutes with you and kind of get, whether it be the hand path working a little more left or whatever it may need to be.
What's cause?
We're then starting to think about swings.
Yeah, you're not fitting clubs,
we're not really
are you?
testing. You talk to some of the guys over the years. I mean, I know.
Such a high tech thing I've got over here.
Talking to Mike Taylor about when Tiger was, when Tiger tests his stuff. Says he doesn't go near a test club unless he's really playing well.
Is that right? So he needs to be in absolute.
Yeah.
But he's playing at a different level. So customers don't have to be perfect, but they need to not can't be having a terrible day.
And at this time of year, Matty, I think I always encourage our team to tell our customers when they're coming in, get a few practice sessions. Try not to make this your first, balls that you're hitting for.
Shouldn't be, right?
2019 really shouldn't be.
No.
You're never going to get the most out of your session. You're the one paying for it, and you're the one hoping, obviously, to get great results. So,
that makes sense.
Hit some balls, do some practice. Heard actually a great story the other day about Tiger and his new irons.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, about
his new
TaylorMades, and I was talking to the marketing guys at TaylorMade, so they were down at the Floridian. It was in that day they had all the Rory and DJ and Ram and
the
Jason the launch day. And so Graham was saying, it's just different when Tiger turns up. He said all those guys are there and a bunch of them ranked higher than him. And it's just different when he turns up, right? So that was the first day Tiger had seen these new irons.
Oh, okay.
So they had a few of them built up and set for him. So they had 5-6 irons. So he picks up the first one. It doesn't hit a shot with it. Picks up and goes, no.
What?
Picks up the next one. No. And he's
just kind of looks at it.
He's at this point, he's not even waggling them. He's not even taking his grip with them. He
just takes a look at it.
Picks up the third one and goes, no.
Stop it.
Picks up the fourth one and goes, pulls a bit of a face and goes,
maybe?
No.
What?
Gets to the last one, so then he kind of goes, right, okay. And so he takes it over, 5 shots. Pretty good. Another 5 shots. Yeah, quite like it. 1 degree stronger, 1 degree flatter, and we're good.
Stop.
Yeah.
He said that to the tech.
So he said we'll be good. So
That's
it's just a different. And Mike Taylor's got all the same stories about him. He said he calls him the kid. He said the kid can detect it all. Said he'll notice the subtle differences in the head shapes, and I'll go get my calipers and look at the digital things that he spot in his eyes. He said he's never wrong, ever wrong. So,
but he's the funny thing. It's a bit of it's almost not quite what you'd expect about Tiger, because I don't consider him a guy who tinkers with equipment. Mm-hmm. He's very consistent. Until this TaylorMade deal, you'd agree that he tended to play older clubs, not change very often. He wasn't like, give me the latest and greatest all the time. But at the same time, he is insanely specific about his specs.
Yeah, about the weight of it, the heft. He obviously the head shape doesn't change the iron shaft ever. Always
Still
sticks with X100s. Doesn't even mess with that stuff.
That's crazy.
But he's very particular, obviously, about head shape and balance and making sure that in his hands it has the exact precision. And it's not even a golf club to him. It's a real precision tool.
It's a tool, yeah. Like especially the irons for him. He's all about hitting irons the right distance and stuff like that.
Yeah. At some point we'll get close enough and really, I truly believe at some point we'll get close enough to him to ask these questions.
I think it'll happen for you, especially with a shirt like that.
Got to be pals if we're wearing red, haven't we?
Will Tiger ever wear a shirt that fits?
What do you think he wears them that are too big?
So, like, Tiger's a big, buff guy.
Yeah.
And I think the shirts fit him. This is my theory. This has been insane. And I don't know why. People won't care. But the arms, I swear to God, he has the arms purposely made big. His arms are huge.
Yeah.
Look at Tommy Fleetwood's shirt or anyone else.
Yeah.
They'll wear the same kind of camo Nike shirt.
Right.
Tiger looks like it fits him, and then the arms are just like completely loose.
Maybe just doesn't like it.
He doesn't like that. I guarantee you, he's like, I don't want my shirt like that. And he's got like custom made shirts because he's a big guy.
You can't accuse me of that, Matty.
No, I know. That's why I'm bringing it up. Your shirts fit. People love to comment on your shirts. All right, good question from Matt here, talking about soft stepping versus hard stepping. That process. First of all, give us the quick Coles notes of what that means, because not everyone will understand.
Okay.
And then the second thing is Matt is asking whether it's going to change launch and spin.
So if we take a 5-iron shaft, has a longer, say if we're taking a dynamic gold that has obviously steps, or a KB Tour that has steps, the longer the iron, the longer the distance between the first step and the tip of the shaft, end of the shaft. So as we get further down,
can you see steps on there? Yeah, not really. No. But anyway, go ahead.
So as we obviously get down to 6-iron, 7-iron, 8-iron, the steps get closer to the tip section. Basically, it works pure and simple. Like the narrower the shaft is, the softer that part of the shaft
is.
Right.
So the widest part is always the strongest.
It's always the thickest. So the butt section, no matter if people say, it's that shaft's pretty stiff in the butt, it's relative to other shafts. Gotcha. It's not relative to anywhere else on that shaft.
So no matter what,
the butt section's always the stiffest.
Interesting.
Right, widest part is always the stiffest. It's almost not a cheat way, but sometimes a way in which manufacturers can stiffen a part of the shaft without using higher grade materials is also they can change the outside diameter.
Oh, okay.
So they can actually change the width of it. So you hear different companies talk about taper rates and trying to influence energy through taper rates. So you can be wide, and all of a sudden go super narrow, and the taper rate changes really fast. That's trying to create an influence. So if you're doing that, so imagine you made that shaft parallel, right? And then the last 5 inches were tapered down.
Yep.
Right? What's the part of the shaft that's going to move? The tip section. The narrow section. So that shaft all of a sudden becomes super tip soft. So that's kind of how hard step and soft stepping works, is basically we're changing the taper or changing the length of that soft part of the shaft.
So you can really make a massive difference in, I guess, the stiffness, because...
Not a massive difference.
That's not a massive difference. Okay.
About a third of a flex is the general rule.
So
of thumb.
you're trying to get people between flexes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You're trying to just you maybe have somebody who you're right in between, and they have a preference for, say it's somebody who has a preference for heavy but you look at them and go, you're not loading that enough, you're not shifting that, making that shaft create enough energy. You go, well, I'll give you the weight, but let me give you the flex I want you to play in it, and that's soft step in order to do that.
And that's a build decision, but you've decided it in the fitting.
Yeah, we can make sub flexes from that.
That's cool. And then to Matt's question about launch and spin, I know what you're gonna say. Not necessarily the thing. Sorry, guys. Lost you for a second there. Good now. The mic pooped out for a second. Okay. I'm going to go back up to where we were. I saw another good question, actually. Oh, from Zach. Thank you for that, Zach. Okay, what's the best way to test for iron length? So his wrist to floor is giving a standard measurement, but he plays 44-inch driver. He swings the 8 iron around 78, negative angle of attack, face to path. It's an interesting question. He's basically trying to see if he should be playing iron short.
There's obviously a bunch of different variables in which you are gonna go to. If it's somebody's static measurements, and we don't take static measurements.
Yeah, you don't do that here. It's all dynamic.
We're basically we're mapping your strike location. That's the modern way really to kind of test length. Sure, we're gonna eyeball you when you come in. We're gonna gauge general height. We will absolutely make an observation about kind of arm length and stuff like that. When you see thousands and thousands of golfers a year, it's very easy to detect when a club is either too long or too short, and then you just test with it. Yeah, okay. It's not definitely not a hard thing once you've seen enough of them.
Because people get very hung up on the static aspect of it. Like I'm a tall guy, I'm a short guy, I have long or short arms. They go into a fit expecting 100%. That you're going to say something like that.
It's a great way for a novice fitter to navigate choosing a length. If you don't have that trained keen eye,
to generalize,
you're going to want to use some kind of process in order to find the length for that player.
Right.
So that's one really good way of doing that would be wrist to floor, and then I've seen myself have fits that start off and all of a sudden they can't find the face, or all sorts of weird things going on, and I'll just I'll go let me go grab the ruler a second, and there'll be something going on there, but very rarely is that the case.
Gotcha. All right.
The video is a bit blurry. Let me check on.
That might have just been briefly because we cut out for 2 seconds. But let us know if there's any issues. Should be okay now. We've got the high-speed internet going.
We are hardwired.
It may have just gone blurry when the sound cut out. This little adapter here is a bit of a piece of crap. It's not working. But we should be okay for now. All right. Back into it. This is a good question. I saw someone ask this over the weekend. Graphite versus steel in driving irons. And I also, a couple people were asking if you ever fit steel into a hybrid. And then by ever, let's go with the last few years.
No.
Okay. So steel is done except for irons. Safe to say?
Pretty much. I mean, the crossover would be maybe on a driving iron. Maybe.
So do you see people with driving iron steel?
Some people.
Okay.
If you've got some really serious speed, we occasionally see it, but I would say more than that kind of 105 to 85, gram graphite. Hybrid graphite shaft.
And even on tour, it seems to be most of them are using graphite driving irons.
For sure.
So it's
for sure.
Unless you are very fast it would be quick transition maybe would help with steel as well. Yeah,
somebody who really needs the weight in order to create or calm their tempo down.
Gotcha. Let me just make sure this is still running. No, it's still working. I should probably turn this off. It's probably slowing the stream down because I'm watching us at the same time as I'm broadcasting. There we go. All right. Let's get through a few more. What is Iron Brew? The hell is that?
So I think the best thing to do with that would be to not tell you and get you one. And
what is it?
next time we have a live, you and I'll have an iron brew.
Is it booze?
No.
Is it
It's a nice drink? Just a nice soft drink.
Like it's pop?
Like a pop.
Is it weird?
No.
Is it good?
It's very good.
Okay. So what you're saying is that I'll like it?
You'll like it. It's,
is it like orange Fanta?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it is orange.
It's like orange pop.
The story goes when it comes in its concentrated form before it's carbonated and turned into the drink that it is, you actually can't touch it with your bare skin or it'll burn your skin. And it's the national drink of Scotland.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's why someone's asking you. So it's just like Coca-Cola
like
powder,
Coca-Cola.
but it's what is it so acidic that
it's got so much sugar in it. It's actually a hangover cure as well. It's the national hangover cure. That's probably why it's the national drink.
I've heard. Yeah.
But it has changed, I believe, since I've been away.
They've mixed up the recipe.
Yeah,
it's like when they changed Coca-Cola.
Taken all the sugar out. Apparently, well, not all sugar, but a lot of the sugar out. It doesn't taste the same.
What a shame that is.
What a shame. Tampering with the national drink.
Can you buy it in Canada or no?
Oh yeah, you can.
From that Scottish store down the road?
You could buy it from the Scottish store. You can go to a few of the different stores. You've got to go to the international section where they'll sell like
a grocery store.
Grocery store they'll sell it.
Now I'm curious. What I need is more sugary crap in my life.
You need McDonald's and an iron brew.
Yeah. I'm getting hammered for these McDonald's things. People literally think I eat McDonald's every day. I'm fine with that. I don't, but it's funnier that way. Ross, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Ross.
Let me get your question. Oh.
Ross has an interview this week as a club fitter, and it's a dream job.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
Well, Ross, let us know. I mean, come back on in and let us know if there's anything, for the interview that you're curious about, or anything, that, ask us anything about it. I think as a young, aspiring club fitter, what I always kind of recommend is obviously as much knowledge as you can possibly get. Good diverse knowledge on launch monitors, camera versus radar. You can go back and look at our original video on that with Sean Clement, where we talked about TrackMan versus GC Quad.
Sounds like he's got a pretty good base from the channel already, which is great.
Yeah, which is great.
It's
but
great to hear.
Good to really kind of in those instances kind of show that it doesn't really matter who you see in front of you, because whether you use Quad or whether you use TrackMan, the customer's going to go, why don't you use a TrackMan?
Yes, you need to interpret the data.
Right, and you have to be able to explain that we actually use GC Quad because we like to measure rather than, guess on certain things. Indoor, for us, indoor TrackMan is limited because it's a radar, it's a Doppler radar that's, obviously trying to track flight, and when you've got 15 feet above flight, you're not going to use the full capabilities with it. So, I think knowledge obviously is the key for Ross to really kind of thrive.
That's great though, Ross. We wish you really good luck.
Definitely.
Hopefully it works out. I think if you're an avid watcher of the channel, you should be a shoo-in. All right. This question from Mike. Let's take this. We haven't talked enough about shafts. I'm gonna add something that I observed. I'm pretty sure Patrick Reed was using a Ventus in his driver on the weekend.
I never saw.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. I think he's still using the G400, but I'm 99% sure he had a Ventus in his driver.
This habit of losing concentration on the golf and Patrick Reed's playing, I just kind of...
Because he's such a great guy?
I'll look anywhere but the TV.
Because he's so interesting, so charismatic.
Patrick Reed.
So TZ5 or the Ventus for a 5-wood?
I mean, you could use either if the one is right for you.
Well, give us a little outline of what the profiles are, because they're obviously not the same.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's nothing to do with whether you're playing a 5-wood or a 3-wood or a driver. It's how you load the golf club. It's the 5-wood part of it's irrelevant.
Right.
You're if you have the launch conditions that need it. So generally, people who do very, very well good with 5-woods are either people who struggle to hit 3 hybrid far enough to get the gapping, so they actually need the extra length of the shaft on the 5-wood.
To hit it further?
Some people need that to hit it further.
Interesting.
The body of the 5-wood being wider front to back and shallower helps them flight it more. And then again, what shaft you choose is based on, how they time it. Obviously, weight's going to be dependent on what length you're going to play at and component weight and all that.
So Mike's got to get out there and try them.
Got to go out and try it, but I would say based on that, they're both very tip stiff, Mike. I'm not
crazy about that in a 5-wood, would you?
No, I wouldn't think that's probably going to be top of your 5-wood list.
TZ6 instead? No.
Maybe, but that's tight in torque and feels pretty boardy. There's a reason they don't talk about those as really fairway wood shafts.
Would Acra's, oh my God, 275 and all those three, are those still current? Like, is that still?
No, they are being phased
out.
out. But
interesting.
Yeah, they are. I guess they're thinking of marketing and having the TZ5 and 6 perform more like driver shafts than fairway woods.
Okay.
Not that you couldn't, but I mean we don't carry them on the wall here.
Yep.
Yet.
Okay. All right. Nicholas, thank you for that, sir.
Nicholas.
Let me get your question.
Current driver question.
So Nicholas is playing Strixon driver, 9.5 degree. He's got it cranked up to 10.5.
Okay.
Swings it pretty quick.
Yeah.
2,500 spin, very low launch. Do I need to hit up more or loft up?
Easy question, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Hit up.
Hit up on it, Nicholas. It will make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. To be honest, if I were you, I would, as a practice drill, I would turn it down and loft. I would turn it down and loft and go figure out how to hit it
force
higher.
Yourself. And if you want more, you had a really good series of tips when we did the video about negative angle of attack. So go, Nicholas, for more. If you haven't seen this video, I think it was called something to do with negative angle of attack, or more distance through. It's called more distance through angle of attack.
Yeah.
Ian, I think you had like a good 10-minute spiel about how to hit up on it in drills. So
ball position is obviously key.
That's
ball
definitely key.
Weight distribution, making sure you're not getting too much on your lead side. When we see kind of pressure sort of force plates, we see where the weight moves. It does tend to be more right side at impact. I've seen some graphs of Justin Rose's pressure plate stuff.
How annoying is that?
It's windy.
It's very windy here.
So like his weight pattern moves right in the backswing, in transition moves left, and then impact he actually moves right again.
It's a lot going on there.
Very, very interesting and different, because normally you'd expect the golf swing to move right side, then move onto your left side on the way through. So
he kind of hits the launch cut as his deal, isn't it? He picks his irons very clean.
Who, Rosie?
Or sorry, I thought you said Justin Thomas for some reason.
No,
you said Justin Rose. Sorry.
Yeah, Justin Rose.
Another Justin.
Yeah.
Who almost shot 59 yesterday. Jason, yes, we will. Very soon.
Yep. It's we were going to do it last week, weren't we?
Yeah, it's on the list. Is it back?
It is back.
It was temporarily missing.
It's in here somewhere.
It might still be missing. Where are you, Callaway? I don't know.
It's been so popular, to be honest. One of our practice members has been keeping it in his bag, and we have to go fetch it from his bag.
We will do it though.
Which is a good problem. He loves it that much. He won't let us have it.
Yeah, people were encouraged by the demo day. The demo day results. It was sweet. That
early testing with it. I really think it's going to be one of the best irons for 2019 Apex Pro, Apex and Apex Pro.
It seems to be pretty.
It's got some serious pop to it. It really does.
Gotcha. Yeah, guys, there's a million comments about the video being blurry. The stream is fine. I checked. It just click the gear and up your quality.
Yeah,
if it's blurry, it might be that your internet's a bit slow on your side, but ours is.
A lot of people saying it's fine. A lot of people saying it's.
A lot of it, to be honest with you, when you watch one of our normal videos, your computer can pre-buffer it a bit. When you watch a live stream, you need to have an extremely fast internet connection to stream 1080. Yeah, streaming 1080 it's taxing on your internet connection.
Nobody needs to see us in HD anyway, really, do they?
Especially this time of day. William.
Thank you,
That
William.
is very generous of you, my friend. I'm trying to add you to the... There you are. That's very nice of you, William.
Thank you, William.
I'm going to look to see if you have a question. If you do, please let us know. If you don't, you're just being nice, then thank you very much. But if you do have a question, please fire it in there. We will find it.
What's Joe got there? The best part of being a Patreon member or donating to TXG is knowing that your money goes back into things that make the content better.
Appreciate that, Joe. That's exactly right.
That's a good point, Joe. That's exactly the idea and the intention, behind the Patreon program and this type of feature.
This
that
exact
we've got
kind of
going
stuff.
on.
So
more
I think
tools.
The quantifiable stuff that you can look at is stuff like the live stream being continuously improved. I can't show you with the camera, but there's a gear system over there that came from Patreon. I've got some new and exciting stuff we just announced about purchasing on there, which I'm looking forward to.
Saying whatever you change back, the quality is now poor.
I didn't change anything. Still HD, guys. Still HD. Live streams are harder to get in HD than they are when you watch a pre-watched video. All right.
Go back up a second. That's funny. Iran, bro. I am Brew, Brian.
Brian might have had an autocorrect.
I think Brian's been done by the autocorrect there.
But we know what you mean, Brian.
Okay, Magnus, F9 with a hazardous black, yes or no? Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, F9, certainly a good driver.
Good driver.
Will that shaft fit you? You will have to find out.
Yeah, 170 ball speed. You're, in the high 18, 119 sort of region. If you're TrackMan, you're probably 121, 123 if you're a quad. Lots of speed.
Boy, yeah. I have to say this
Lots
again.
of speed.
Top Tracer, they have to figure it out. Enough.
Yeah.
So
Was it bad again, was it?
Rory hit iron off a tee. Who cares what it was?
Right.
Say it was a 5-iron. 135 ball speed, 260 carry.
Yeah, I heard they were having some...
come on.
Apparently there was one that there was a 98 ball speed and it went 200 something yards. I saw Paul Wood from Ping was talking about
DJ had a 189 ball speed and they tried to say it carried 311. No. Yeah. At altitude, it carried 360 for sure.
Well, because they were all posting their TrackMan numbers at the start of the week.
I know 360.
Justin Thomas had a few going at 380 and stuff. Paul Casey had his. He's like a low 170s guy. He was carrying it 340, and he's like, it's going to be fun to see where the kids hit it this week.
The kids, yeah. No, I don't want to criticize Top Tracer for the technology that traces the ball. It is the coolest thing that's been added to golf in a long time. But the numbers,
I think so as well.
The numbers they're a little off. Why is that? I don't get it. I thought it was a TrackMan, but it can't be.
No.
TrackMan's not mucking up ball speed by that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Speed. It's great outdoors. So.
Bradley, I will buy you an Iron Brew, Bradley. I will buy you one and I'll keep it in the fridge for you for next time you pop in to see us. How about that?
Bradley, come in for a live taste test. You and I will cheers.
We'll get Bradley in the lives.
Absolutely. He's a staple of lives. All right.
There's a lot of McDonald's action before the range going on here.
I love McDonald's. We should catch up a bit. This is funny. I'm going to catch up a bit here, guys.
Jacob, wow. Thank you so much.
Jacob, that's very, very nice of you. What part of the world are you from, Jacob? SEK. I'm not sure what that is.
Where is it?
That's the currency. I don't know what SEK means.
Sure. Swedish krona, I would imagine.
All right. Hopefully we're right about that, but thank you in any case. So Jacob is asking about wedge playability. So this is a great question. So what is bending a wedge too much? So if he's asking about taking a 52 and bending it to 48.
Yeah.
Tell me. So that 4 degrees is too much?
Yeah.
And that's because it's altering bounce too much?
Yeah, it won't. There are 4 to 8 degree wedges out there with 8 degrees of bounce.
Okay.
There are.
But that's low bounce.
That would be a low bounce.
Generally speaking, if it's not a forged wedge, bending a Vokey are you not going to break a Vokey?
We broke several Vokeys in here last year. Vokey, we love Vokey wedges. Everyone knows the quality of a Vokey wedge.
It's not meant to be bent that much.
They're not meant to be bent over and over again. They're not forged,
no.
So they're not meant to be bent over and over again.
And they come in 2 degree increments for a reason, so that you buy the right one.
That's right.
So be careful with that, Jacob.
Sure.
4 is too much. Look for if he wants a 48. degree start with what? It should be like a 12-degree bounce, shouldn't it?
8 or 10. Okay. 8 or 10, but you just don't want to bend it.
So you don't want to bend it to get it there.
You do start playing with the offset and stuff with the head as well. It will look a little
that's a
odd.
good point. Okay, so that's a lot of bending.
Yeah.
Good question. Brandon. Okay, Brandon is a 14 handicap. First of all, thank you for that, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
He's playing 716 AP1s. Over the past year, he's not enjoying the offset. Okay, interesting. That's just a great question. Any irons you could recommend for an average ball striker, but he's looking probably for a little bit more players look, less offset? What do you like in that space?
They designed the AP3 for that player, didn't they? The top line of AP2, sole of AP1.
I'd love to take one out while I'm talking about it.
Yep, right there.
AP3.
AP3.
So AP3 will give Brandon similar
wider
forgiveness.
Sole, a little bit stronger loft because the CG is obviously nice and low.
But it looks nicer from a dress.
Yeah, looks much nicer from a dress. That's a good one. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the 585, like you said, Brandon.
He was asking about AP2s.
I would say probably not on AP2s. 14 handicap, Brandon, probably not. I'd probably stay away from that one. 585s all day, every day. I would say that's
where are those?
That's
bad
probably
boys?
going to be one of the top choices.
They're in a member's bag too. Yeah, 585s are. Well, I've said this too. 585s that address look way better than the amount of forgiveness they have.
For sure.
They look fantastic.
Well, when you look at the back of it versus a 785, and then you actually put it in the playing position.
Yeah.
Good luck detecting which one's which.
And so Brandon asking about 785s is interesting. I would say, Brandon, honestly, they are a small-looking iron. So if you're a little concerned about your ball striking, I think 785s, honestly, even for me, I look at those and go, those are a little small. Yeah, a little small. Hopefully that answers your question. Let us know if you need any further. Dr. Q, you don't have to apologize, but thanks for tuning in. Always better late than never.
Joe's got a great question there.
Okay, so Joe's asking, how does a company choose a stock shaft? Oh, that's a good question. How do you choose a stock shaft for a driver? Seems like hazardous smoke is a stock offering in almost every release. I don't know the answer to that at all.
What do you take a guess?
The only thing I can draw on from what you've told me is that the head and shaft manufacturers work together prior to the release to try to come up with shaft profiles that will complement the head. And you used to talk about SLDR being super low spin, and companies made a bunch of tip-soft shafts so that it would offset how low spin it was. So I'm assuming that there is, I guess, shaft companies are, I don't know, they're in tune somewhat with what's going on with head design that year, and they try to offer something that will...
It would be really nice to think that that's
okay. So you're
wrong. No, you're not.
I'm on the right track,
That's the nice way to look at what it is. It's a money game.
It's the sunny view. Oh, it's a money game. Okay.
It's a money game.
So
it's a money game. So it's all about obviously
quantity, basically.
Think about what happened, right? So TaylorMade engineer M5, right? Spend all the money in that. That's going to go to retail at X price.
Yes.
Call it $600.
Yep.
Everything that goes into that product from that point is going to eat into the margin they're going to make on that product.
Grip.
So they're going to sell it into the retailer at X. So they have to put a shaft, a tip, and a grip on there and try to retain as much margin, but still try and keep the quality as high as they possibly can. But they're still a business at the end of the day. So they will go to, whatever company. Fujikura have been probably the company in the past that TaylorMade have done most of their business with. Fuji speeders over the years have been, in a lot of them, and I know the guys at Fuji who do that business, and they'll go in there and they will hear, okay, this is what we're trying to do. To your point, this is what we're trying to do. This is the style of the head. What do you have? And they'll come up with a blend. It's kind of like, maybe that's the way to look at it, like a wine. You can get a bit of a blend, a blended wine. It's not a Merlot, it's not a Cab Sauv, but it's got a little bit of everything. But it doesn't mean it's bad.
No,
some people might like it.
It's a general. Well, that's what you always say about stock shaft. They're hoping it fits as many people as possible.
They're trying to keep it somewhere in the general. You're never going to find it extremely, on one side or the other. You never find that. But it's mostly profit retention.
So hazardous smoke is getting offered in a ton of drivers because Project X is giving good good prices on it, basically.
Hazardous Black was also offered in a lot of drivers, wasn't it? But it wasn't the handcrafted one.
Right. So they've obviously offered a different version.
Different
it's at a good price point.
Yeah.
But we're not saying they're not good. They're just, that's why. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Good question, Joe.
Good. I think a lot of people will be.
I think that's a great question.
Interested in that one.
All right. I'm going to catch up a little bit more. Mr. William Russell, thank you for that.
Thank you, William.
So,
top 3 shaft companies to test.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just asking about what some of your favorites are. I know this is a tough question because it's very dependent. Why don't you give us? I don't want to. There's no way to answer this by being totally neutral. You got some interesting questions last live, like how come you don't carry this, this, and this?
Right.
Your answer was perfect. You said there's 300 and something shafts. Like how many we're going to carry?
Yeah.
You have to whittle it down somewhat. Fair enough. So on this wall, Graphite Design, Acra, Fujikura, Valix. What am I missing? Aldila, VA, and is that everything?
Yeah, pretty much it.
So, William, if you're looking for the brands that Ian recommends, it's probably one of those.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that there's not other shaft companies that are they're not bad. It's just you've had to at some point say, I'm not carrying 1,000 shafts. So these are the ones that I find work most often. Is that basically what it is?
In some shops you go in and there's maybe I walk in some shops and I'll be very aware of what their demo matrix is, and I'll look at it and go, there's not much uniformity going on here.
Okay.
It's a bit of a splatter of a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
And is it at that point is that just kind of like a car showroom, like, oh, look at all the stuff we have? They haven't necessarily thought about, because I know you. Yeah. What I find interesting about this wall is that sometimes I'll say to you, do you have, I'm going to pick the wrong example, but whatever, this Graphite Design shaft, do you have that in 7X?
Yeah.
And you'll just say no, because the player that tends to need that type will actually be better off in this Acra shaft. So is it possible that when someone sees too many options, it's just a lack of, I guess, actual detailed mapping of what the shaft wall should include?
Yeah, I mean, you take a shaft like Graphite Design, if you want to use those guys, like the GP, right? Yep. So, we're not going to carry a 5R or 5SR or 5R in GP. It's a stiffer profile. It's not
for a faster player anyway.
It's for guys who've got some speed, and if somebody's swinging, even the aggressive player who with aggressive tempo but not overly fast, they're not going to need a 5R GP.
So that's a good point. But that exists.
Yeah.
But you just don't think it will fit anyone, so why carry it? Yeah,
exactly.
See, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, after all the options that we've got, and we're narrowing it down from thousands.
You must, like, what do you think? Within reason, there's obviously you could easily, if you carried full lines from 10 companies, 5,000 shafts or something stupid.
No, I mean,
it would be ridiculous, right?
It'd be obscene. I mean, it's not an easy job. To be honest, keeping the wall balanced
between you and Mikey and everyone, keeping it kind of
trying to kind of keep the boys, give them options at different price points and different obviously bend profiles. And it's all got to have its place up there.
Good.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay. This is a good question too.
Phone's blowing up here.
Hopefully it's nothing about our live stream failing. All right, so this is a great question. So I hear this all the time. Well, maybe not recently, but broadcasters, golf broadcasters, they used to say it all the time about Tiger. So-and-so needs to hit a draw on this hole. He's gone to a 3-wood because the 3-wood's easier for him to draw. Is there any actual science behind that? Because I don't see how having a more lofted club in any case could make it easier to curve a ball. Unless their driver's really fade biased. Is that... You've heard that before, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of think of the delivery characteristics that would favour that. I mean, certainly when we're thinking of the delivery in 3 dimensions, when we are when we're hitting downward more, so say we are hitting downward, you know, in 3 dimensions, that down is not a 2-dimensional down. That's a 3-dimensional down and out.
Yep.
So unless you offset that by, you know, altering your swing direction left, that golf club, you know, is traveling to the right. So, you know, there's part of that it's that the down creates a little bit more out, which obviously is going to make the face, because we always know face reacts to where the club is moving directionally.
Yep.
You know, there's that element of it. You know, a little bit shorter golf club, a little bit easier to control.
I think it's just partially a psychological thing.
I mean, when I was working with Woodland, he was absolutely adamant. Wanted to cut the driver, wanted to draw the 3-wood. That was his two. So
he wanted those two shapes.
Absolutely adamant that's what he wanted to do. So, you know, when we had dialed in his driver, he said, "Listen, can you have a look at this 3-wood? I can't turn it over." So I kind of take a look at it, sit in neutral, and moved it upright. All of a sudden, starts hitting these lovely little draws. So I didn't move the face angle, just tilted the lie angle, which obviously is going to help him turn it over a little bit easier.
So there might be something to it.
Really good question.
It's a very good question. You hear it all the time. You really do. All right, I'm going to get a little bit caught up here. Thunder, I think that we got your question.
Thank you.
But if we didn't, let us know. But thank you for that.
I think we got it.
Okay.
Mention it again.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. Lots of questions today, which is great. Okay. All right, from Reed. Did a video on this a while ago. We haven't talked about it in a while.
Okay.
So what would make you put someone into like a 48 Vokey instead of a pitching wedge from a Callaway set? Or
a few different reasons. They may really like pitching with that particular club.
Short game shots.
They may not require the same characteristics that the irons have when you're playing multiple different shots. The question I always ask people is, you know, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
Are you going to play multiple shots? Is it going to be just a club for a yardage? If it's normally a club for a yardage, it becomes a one of the irons set at that point. Right. You know, your irons are designed to go obviously at the gapping that they do. But when you start to, you know, need more versatility around the greens and different things like that, then that's when we start to look at, you know, the characteristics that a wedge has. Sole width, we're looking at bounce, we're looking at camber, we're looking at the grind
options,
all those sorts of things.
Gotcha.
They all come into it. So it really depends what you're going to do with it. That would be, for me, and generally speaking, you'll see players with a bit more speed. You know, a Vokey 50 or 46 or 48 will blend in with a blade set. You know, you're unlikely to see somebody go P790 irons, Vokey 46 degree, you know, wedge.
So they need an intermediate club almost to blend the set.
Yeah,
makes sense. Good question, Reed.
Good.
There is a video on that, Reed, if you haven't seen it. It's literally called Specialist Wedge versus Set Wedge. But that was the gist of it. All right, from Derek. Thank you for that, Derek. So Derek is asking, any way to add significant head weight? You're going to get the scale and everything. This is great. Ian's just getting it out now, Derek. But is there any way to add significant head weight to the gapper low, which is the smallest model? So he currently has a setup, measures out at D1. He wants it closer to D4.
There's a little, if we can really see that there. Come closer to
me. Let's get it in focus.
So you can just about see just the little dot right there. Port. So now it is, if you can vouch for that, Matt. It's not your run-of-the-mill weight port.
No.
It'll need to be done with a special tailor-made key.
So you can't open that with what you get from the store.
Not with a normal torque wrench.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's a piece in the middle.
Yeah, a little piece in the middle that stops that happening. It's the same size, but it actually needs the torque wrench actually needs a little hole.
So what's Derek's options? He needs to ask a fitting shop if they have that key.
Yeah.
And then come in and what would you do? You'd hot melt it a bit?
You could either hot melt it. You could see if there's various weights. You know, if you could up the head weight. What's it?
He wants to get it to D4.
Yeah. So I'd probably say hot melting is your best bet.
But you need the special key.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to use lead tape, which is understandable.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like
I agree
lead
with
tape.
that. I think it's probably personal preference. I just think if you spend all that money on a golf club, you don't want a bunch of tape sitting on the side of it.
Yeah.
Personally, but
yeah. No, I can see that as well.
All right, Derek. Hopefully that answers your question. Jason, thank you for that.
It's Jason.
Let me pull your question up. Jason is asking, is it important to get fit for the golf ball that you use?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, what is the process for that?
Well, it's the only thing that's constant in every shot you hit, isn't it? So,
very true.
You have to be aware of the overall performance. You have to try to find a balance between how you flight the driver, how you flight the irons, what you will look for in the wedges, how you like them to feel, how does it want to feel off the putter, all those sorts of things. So, I think once you have I tell people this all the time, once you have your bag settled, that's when you want to ball test. Right. I'm not a fan of ball testing at the time of testing new equipment at the same time.
Because it introduces another variable to the process?
In the fitting drawer that I've got there, I keep a little selection of kind of all the premium golf balls, all the golf balls that I really like. It can often just be the icing on the cake for me in a fit, though, that if I see someone who's really, really close, and I've done this twice last week, one lad came in for a 3-wood fit, and I saw him getting unbelievable kind of ball speed, and he was shaping the 3-wood really well, but he could not get his spin rate down. And I always harp on it, but it's mostly loft for spin rates and stuff. Honestly, gave him the TaylorMade TP5, just made the world of difference. It slashed his spin by TP5X, and it just cut his spin rate. It was absolutely. He was kind of getting these low risers, and the ball flight launched a little bit higher, spun a little bit less, and it was really the icing on the cake for which I could see how good he was delivering it. It's just the numbers wouldn't, without the ball kind of being right. But I said to him, that's me showing you what the 3-wood is like when it's perfect. Okay. Does this ball match the rest of your bag? I don't know. I'm just watching you hit 3-woods. It's got to match the rest.
It's an interesting process.
But he's got so much speed that I kind of was able to tell him pretty much. I mean, if you deliver every other club this way, yes, you're going to struggle with excess spin. So TP5 will be a great ball for you.
So let me ask you this then. If someone comes in, they're the type of player that hits it, let's say, like 200 yards, slower swing speed.
Yeah.
You know a little bit about them. Do you start the fit with a certain ball knowing that, or do you have a go-to, like, here's a ball that I will fit with, generally speaking?
Well, in the back, we fit with Strixon balls, as you know.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll start with the regular black lower compression Z-Star.
The regular Z-Star, okay.
Yeah.
Because it has a bit more compression.
Has a little softer compression.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then at that point, if you get, so as you said, once the clubs are fit, you might end up saying to that person, maybe the Q-Star is for you or something like that.
Something like that.
Interesting.
For sure.
Good question, Jason. All righty. I'm going to catch up a little bit. Ooh. From Magnus.
Magnus, thank you.
Magnus, I think what's that, Norway?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, Magnus. So Magnus is asking about hazardous black for my swing. I don't think I've ever tried it.
I'm not sure if it was still on the wall here when you...
We tried it once or twice.
Did we?
I was probably in the middle of...
Yeah, Matt could... to answer the question, Mags, yes, Matt could fit in with hazardous black.
Is that because it is like a low... I almost said lower launch shaft. Yeah. It's a stiffer profile
very
shaft, stable.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. For the amount of speed you've got, it would be, something that a lot of places would kind of hand you.
Because it's very popular. A lot of people ask about it.
A lot of questions about it.
Yeah.
Lots.
All right. I'm going to take this one from Bubba. Mm-hmm. Bubba from Hawaii, if I have the right Bubba in mind. So he tried the M5 driver this weekend with his, I guess that's his shaft.
Yeah.
Seems like it's lighter in the head versus his M4. Is that possible?
Is it possible? Possible, yeah.
Would that just be
likely?
Like a very... Yeah, unlikely? I mean, we can weigh him. Let's weigh him.
I'll tell you how likely it is versus possible.
So this is an M5.
Yeah.
We're going to measure it for you, Bubba. I get that blow my nose. Pardon me for a moment.
So, we've got So M4, Bubba, on the ones we just measured, M4's 2 grams lighter. M4, yeah. So I would say, it's possible, but not going to be by much. I wouldn't say you're going to be really.
Is it possible that just the balance of the club, the way it's situated, has just given him a different feel?
So it's funny. I had I don't know if I mentioned to you, I had an interest, and I was talking to Mr. Crossfield this morning.
Not mentioned this to me yet.
So we were on. I mean, he was on the hustle, and I was on the hustle. So he was up at his computer at 6 in the morning, and I was still at my computer at 1 in the morning. So he dropped me a message, and we start talking about different heads and what we see and stuff. And something that we agreed on was that at times there are an issue with tolerances with these things. So, Bubba, the first thing that springs to my mind is, on head weight, maybe it's
possible
just,
there's manufacturing.
It's we picked an M4 and we picked an M5. The M5's heavier. Can I promise, Bubba, that is not going to be flip reverse? I can't.
Interesting.
Because of the tolerances in these things.
Usually within like 4 or 5 grams, or is that too high?
Definitely within 4 or 5 grams.
Right.
Definitely within that. But you cannot guarantee that's going to be the case. It doesn't take much for one to be 2 grams lighter than that M5 and one to be 3 grams heavier than that M4, and you see a 5 gram switch around.
And then the swing weight will feel different.
Yeah.
What else did you talk to Mark about? That's interesting.
We had a good.
You talked on the phone?
No, we were literally just going back and forward on Twitter.
The old DMs.
On the DMs. So we were just chatting about different stuff collaborating basically.
Did you send him a message initially? Or
no, he sent me a message saying, let's get together and do some videos.
Nice.
And I was like, absolutely, love to. And so we were talking about tolerances and what we're both finding. Because obviously with some of the Cobra stuff that we found to be good, he kind of put a caution on that, didn't he, over the weekend? He's like,
wasn't as good for him.
Be careful of what of what you see. So we started chatting about what we both see, and he's seen some things with it, and the higher strikes that on one of the heads that he was testing with, he saw some real performance drop offs in one of his ones. And I had some pictures of some strikes that I had a customer hit.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was high in the head. And I said, how high is high? And he said, 10 millimeters. And I looked at the strikes on this one, and I was seeing, 6-7 millimeters above. So we were talking millimeters away from each other.
Yeah.
So then we started talking about tolerances and different stuff, and what we see from some companies, and some of the companies have better tolerances than others, and that type of thing. But, just a good chat about CT tolerances and different stuff, which is cool. But he's a smart guy. I feel like some people get the wrong impression of him sometimes.
I think
online.
that as well.
You met him at the show.
Yeah, we chatted for a few minutes. It seems like I think people want everyone else to be like combative with him. They want oh, Ian, prove Mark wrong. That's not really what it needs or should be. It's not that.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. But it's great to hear that you guys had a chat. No, he was very good chatting with at the show. It's great that you guys had a conversation.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's reached out for one reason, and that's because he thinks that our 2 channels working together is for the better information for the community out there. Yeah,
because no matter what people want to say about him, he doesn't I don't think he ever has bad intention. I think his intention, he's always towards, like, be careful about what you're reading in the marketing.
Yeah.
Be careful about spending your $700.
Yeah.
This is what I found. Now, at times, is he missing some details? Fine. Maybe we miss details at times as well, but that's good.
Perfect.
I think that's great. That's great to hear.
So,
is he going to come here? Can we?
Well, what we're going to do is, I think, he's going to set us some challenges. I think, with some testing challenges, and he was asking, he's like, how fast do you guys turn videos around? Said my boy Matty will do it in the hour.
I'm busy. No, I'll do it in an hour.
Yeah. So now we can be swift with that. So
cool.
So watch the space. We've got lots and lots planned.
That's exciting stuff. So you didn't sleep last night, clearly.
I didn't. I literally didn't. I did not.
Awesome. I didn't either. I couldn't breathe. My nose has been plugged up. All right. Part 2 of the shaft reviews. It will probably be in the next few weeks. We are taking... I'm saying we're taking a week off filming. We're not really. There's at least 4 new videos coming out. We filmed them all.
True.
We filmed them all last week.
What do we still have? I forgot.
Callaway Epic Flash
Fairway Wood. That's a good one. That's
fantastic
a really good one.
Titleist TS3 versus Cobra F9. Very good one.
Very interesting. We were talking about that one.
Yep. I think Mark will love that video.
Yep.
Cut Golf Blue.
That's an interesting
is
one.
also coming out this week. So, and we're going to film like 1 or 2 today. Ian's going to hit some balls. So we're a little behind on the shaft one because I'm resting the old injury.
The shoulder.
The fact that I have no pain right now, this is great.
It's good.
Some progress. Next week.
Like another week's rest will make a huge difference.
I just didn't want to push my luck. All right, let's keep getting caught up. That's from Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm going to have a gander if you have a question. If you do, let us know. If you don't, thank you for that. From Mr. Paul. That is very nice of you. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks,
do you
Paul.
know what variances are related to head speed using GC Quad, SkyTrack, About Golf, and I'll throw TrackMan in there. This is a great question, Paul. One that's come quite a bit, even on your side and our side lately.
Yeah.
Give us a little rundown of how
and where.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll probably start with is the range. So, even from one company to another, the range of clubhead speed difference is probably 2.5, 3 miles an hour would be about the range.
Okay. So let me clarify that because I've seen it myself.
Yeah.
We could be hitting the Mizuno head.
Yeah.
Then we can
Well,
switch.
that's a different thing. That can be, even with the same monitor, we can get different speeds.
Yeah, with different head shapes and stuff like that.
So, the range of club head speed from a TrackMan to a GC Quad has about a 3 mile an hour range with the exact same delivery.
Okay.
So if we had a TrackMan sitting here and it's tracking, a point on that club head,
Right.
On the way into delivery, you've got Quad who's looking in at the face and it's tracking the club face as it's coming in. They're tracking different points
Right.
on that golf club. So TrackMan generally tracks club head speed lower than Quad, as
Which
we know.
is a lot of the questions we get. Why is the efficiency lower on this channel? And that's why.
So and I, when I was only using TrackMan, I used to look at the same thing. I was like, why are these guys getting such bad smash factors? Are they using range balls? Like, what's wrong?
Before you switch to Quad.
Before I switched to Quad, and yeah, pretty much. Well, even when I was using GC2 until HMT came out, we weren't tracking what the club was doing. We were tracking what the ball was doing.
Okay.
So that was it. So
right?
it depends where your monitor sits. I mean, are you a spin module that sits above like a golf simulator like HD Golf or something like that?
Yeah.
Camera-based companies always say that their stuff is the most accurate for reading speed and delivery.
Okay.
Because it's taking actual
Physical numbers.
Pictures now.
And then radar has the opposite opinion, basically.
Yeah, they'll say that they are equal. I mean, it really doesn't matter, to be honest.
You just need to know how to interpret.
I never felt like TrackMan was ever letting me down on club head speed delivery.
Right.
Even if a smash factor is 149 versus 151, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm looking at club head speed for a ballpark number. I'm looking at ball speed as a performance factor.
Okay.
So one club versus another, I'm looking at ball speed as like, okay, which one's going to produce more horsepower?
Right.
I don't really care which one, is moving all that much faster, unless it's significant.
I was going to say, unless there's some ridiculous discrepancy where you're like, this guy is really swinging fast, he's getting nothing out of this. Then
So I'll give you an example, and I'll go back to answering that question a bit better for Paul with some of those other ones. But we had a customer in the other day, and this was actually very similar to your F9 video. So Jason was in, he brought in his Titleist driver. His ball speed was like 161. It was his best, 158 to 161. So he was he's a lefty, hitting them pretty straight, leaking them pretty straight, leaking them.
Okay.
So we gave him a heavily counterbalanced shaft. Okay, we changed the weight distribution. His club head speed spiked 4 miles an hour.
What?
And his ball speed spiked a 3 miles an hour club head speed, and his ball speed spiked to about 8-9 miles an hour.
Wow.
It was serious.
Now, that's no joke, is it?
Yeah, so his best ones, now he was gaining in confidence as it went, and
which we know is a factor.
We really did, because he was seeing these numbers go. So all of a sudden he went from 161 to like 165 instantly, and then it was like, oh geez. Yeah. And then he goes, let me step in 166, 16. You know how that one goes in a fit.
I say it in every video.
Yeah, you start to see it and feel it, and you go, I feel like I can just hit this hard, and it kind of unlocks another gear in the player. Yeah. But that really is the key to the shaft fit finding the right one for the player.
Very cool.
So Paul, back to your question.
It's a good segue though.
Skytrack and these things, they're all ballpark enough to none of them are letting you down.
Yeah, they're not like
none of them are
terrible. What would you say the one weakness of the lower end is? It spin?
Yeah, it's a lack of sort of. Not even so much spin. Spin is pretty close.
Is it? Okay.
It just doesn't give you much delivery. It doesn't give you any delivery
so
numbers.
Not enough.
Doesn't give you path. Doesn't give you face. It will give you launch and spin. Right. It will give you predicted numbers, but basics.
But for the price, I think Skytrack's around $3,000.
Yeah,
it's pretty good value, right?
Pretty good.
Okay. From our friend Whisker, this is something we talked about at the show. Acra putter shafts, will they be reviewed in the future? I don't see any reason why not. The Acra guys are very, very good about getting us stuff.
We have two, don't we? We have the softest and we have the stiffest.
Yeah. So Mikey put one in a putter. We just didn't get to it. So Whisker, yes.
We will, Whisker, for sure.
With your encouragement, maybe even sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to get a little more up. From our friend Chris. Chris, that's very nice of you. Chris came to Orlando in November.
Chris was down at the Sessions event.
Yes, he was. Okay, so Chris is asking. He's swinging it around 100 and 103. He needs to launch and spin. This is interesting. So he bought a Cobra F9 Women's with a stock Atmos 5 Women's Flex. Best I've ever hit a driver.
Uh-huh.
So he's going to reshaft the head. Mm-hmm. This is interesting. Really interesting. Any shafts he should consider? I'm assuming you're going to have a couple things to say about this, because I'm assuming the heads are weighted differently.
Yeah, normally they're lighter, a little bit lighter.
So we know, Chris, we fit him for an Acra. Mm-hmm. I'd have to go into my Excel sheet, but we know Chris knows what shaft he's been fitted for.
Yeah.
What do you think would be some options?
I would want to dig into why that is working well. So I wouldn't. I don't think that is necessarily the answer, because I think there'll be certain times where, that club would let Chris down.
So, and I was going to ask you the same thing. Mm-hmm. Is this a situation where the weight balance of it, for whatever reason, is giving him
just the load, the feel, the timing, and all those sorts of things. And,
right.
But I think if you work with an experienced enough fitter, then they can they can identify all those key things that are really helping you find the timing that you obviously use to make the best delivery you can. So I'd be exploring sort of the options as to why.
So what would be a good practical advice? I think maybe Chris should go to somewhere like Club Champion.
Orlando.
Ask to try that Cobra F9 Women's. Hit it with the men's one. Mm-hmm. Try some different shafts and see, at least get some numbers on what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I think this happens to a lot of people. I did it at the show with Acra. Remember I said to you, like, oh, Ian, I was hitting that 85 gram shaft so great, and you kind of were looking at me like, okay.
Well, because
and then I came back and hit it like crap, right?
Hit it awful. Yeah. I mean, you struggled with the weight.
Perfect example. Because I remember, again, like that's what happens sometimes. Whatever reason that day, that moment, you're hitting that well, and then you think it's a good fit, but maybe it's, in fact, not at all right.
Yeah. Well, again, this is all stuff for gears.
Yeah,
this is all gears information.
Because there's something going on there that's working for Chris, obviously. So, Chris, if hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, you know where to reach us on Patreon. Feel free to follow up.
Yeah, and if you've got numbers, Chris, if you've got numbers with and without, feel free to send us both.
You know where to reach us, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. We're just getting caught up to when we were talking about 3-woods.
Okay.
Okay, from Jordan. Thank you for that, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
Brand new set of Nike Vapor Pros.
Yep. Not a bad set of irons.
Irons, okay. Would there be a reason to upgrade to a current year's blade?
A blade.
Are Vapor Pros the ones that kind of look like those JPX irons? Is that what they're like? They kind of look like that?
Yeah, they look a bit like that in the kind of
one,
mid-irons, but yeah, they progressed down to... I actually used a set of those for a little while. The Vapor Pro combos, yeah. They were good if you struck it middle to low. They were horrendous if you struck it high in the head. They made a weird noise. They went nowhere.
Talking about the irons?
The irons.
Really?
Oh, horrendous. They had
no...
too much weight down low.
Vapor Pros.
Yeah, Vapor Pro.
So I guess what Jordan's asking is there going to be some kind of... Maybe he wants to switch to blades. Is there a reason to upgrade? Maybe.
If you're talking about blades, Jordan, if you're looking at upgrading to a blade, yeah, I would say there's definitely blades that have different characteristics.
Like even that as a transitional.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's going to give you less surprises.
JPX Tour.
MP18, the blade of that one. We've got the new Strixon iron, the new blade, the forged.
Yeah, a couple questions came in about
really
that.
Nice.
Those do look nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Jordan. Thanks for that. From Chance.
+4 handicap, so good player. Yeah. Struggling with strike point. Current setup, 440.
That's interesting.
Feels terrible. 440 with a Curating XT. AOA 4 degrees up. Balance point issue. I think part of what's going on, chances is you're in a head that's really, really tough. If you're not striking, I mean, of all the heads that you could play when you're not striking it great, that would probably be one of the last ones.
It's not forgiving.
It's not. The MOI is extremely low
because of 440.
A little bit smaller in the head, so you're obviously going to sacrifice a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Swing speed's good. AOA 4 hits up in it a ton. So most people go to that head as a bit of a last ditch kind of resort to trying to spin it less.
Okay.
Because the CG's further forward, etc., etc.
Yep.
I think you could probably go to something if you do want to kind of keep the flight, a little bit on the flatter side. I mean, what we've seen from ST190. And that so thing is forgiving and low spin.
That's true. It's a good stable option.
Yeah, really good stable option. What else we got? I mean, you can look at TS3, very stable, and definitely not bad on spin at all.
Have you done enough with the new M5 to start kind of building your opinion of it, or are you still a little young in that process?
Still early on to know my true feelings on it.
Okay.
I definitely have tried it in some players' hands so far and went, no, that's not quite kind of giving us the numbers. I said that to the guys at TaylorMade, and they actually said that a similar thing, which was M6 is definitely more friendly all round.
Okay. Interesting.
But M5 for the better players is still
the one.
Generally the go-to model.
Like, chances are this will be a little lower spin for Chance because it's probably one of the lowest spin ones we've tested so far.
Definitely one of the lower spin ones. I thought it was interesting. Again, though, DJ does what DJ does.
Yeah, true.
He goes M4 to start the season. He done exactly the same last year. Switched into M3. Started this year with M6. This week went into. He does it every year. I kind of almost think they go, okay, we have to get you playing one of the new drivers. We have to. Mm-hmm. Here's the more forgiving one until you're really dialed in. Once we get you dialed in, then obviously we can get you into M5. That's the only thing I can think of why he would. It's actually a good idea. That.
Because to me, I almost wonder if they hate that he does that or if they like it. Because on one hand, if I was TaylorMade, I'd be like, what is he doing? He's confusing people. Or I'd be like, well, look at DJ. He can play either driver and he plays great golf. Both drivers must be good.
That's it.
So I guess it's just whatever way you interpret that, right?
For sure.
So you just think this is probably not a great fit for Chance. No. Check out a different driver head.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, different combos. I mean, you've seen how we try and navigate, shift and strike point around the head and stuff like that.
It's amazing what can be done.
Yeah, through rotation, through different weights, through balance points. We really can influence that strike point.
Gotcha. Question about whether I've altered my swing with my neck. I have not.
No.
I don't think my swing is responsible, to be honest with you. As I've said, a little combination of too much work and little gym injury.
Yeah.
Hitting balls makes it worse, so that's why I'm resting this week. But no, swing is still fine. Swing honestly feels good. I'm due for a little tune-up with Larry, so I'm going to go do that probably before next week. Get things a little cleaned up. I think I'm getting a little behind me. Yeah, some of those numbers were a little silly last week, weren't they?
Getting a little bit on the inside. We were still hitting it pretty good, though.
Can't complain. Bandit.
Didn't know we were live. I know we get the early shift in this week, didn't we?
Bandit, we did this for you. What did you call it? Tea time?
Tea time, back home.
Bandit, we did this for you.
Bandit, we sitting at home having his tea.
I don't know if I can open Joe's link. Joe, is this link safe for me to open? It's not letting me click it. We'll look later, Joe.
I trust Joe, but
I can't open the link in this for whatever reason, but I will look later. I'm sure it's funny. All right. Chance, we just got to yours. Perfect. Sorry, guys. We were trying to get caught up.
Sorry, guys. We're going to have to try and skip forward a little bit here. Pete.
Thank you, Pete. Smash factor with standard drivers is 1.43 to 1.45, but with my 3-wood, he is up basically to ideal. Thinking about shortening it, but would worry about the swing weight.
Yeah.
So he's obviously getting a hell of a lot more to the 3-wood. There's something going on with that driver.
Something's going wrong with the driver or the launch monitor, Pete. There's definitely something odd going on there. Very unlikely that you should be getting... If that was the case, you would actually probably be getting more... Let us know if you're getting more ball speed out your 3-wood than you are at your driver, Pete. Be curious if you can give me both ball speed numbers. Because then I can tell you if the club head speed's a little funky. True.
Yeah, if he's getting significantly more ball speed from the driver, probably a misread on the club head.
Yeah. I would say probably look for most people 5 to 8 miles an hour difference in ball speed between
3-wood to driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we were so impressed with you last week with that fairway wood, wasn't it? Because it's the first time you've closed that gap. You know, you were always a mid 160s guy with the fairway wood, but you were sneaking up into the high 170s, even into 180s with the driver. And we knew you had more in you last week testing G410 LST.
And then the Callaways too.
Yeah, that was
true.
Yeah, you'd some really, without giving away, you'd some real quick ones with that Callaway.
I already gave it away in a comment the other day.
Did you?
Well, someone was just asking, like, are you going to review them? I said, yes, they were good. Not really a secret. Quick. Everyone's loving those. When you look at, I don't know if Rick Shields has done his yet, but a bunch of the YouTube usual suspects have said that they are really good. Yeah. Pete, follow up with us, but sounds like something must be a little off for sure.
Both ball speeds.
I'm going to go a little quick here.
Okay.
Joe, thank you for that. Joe is in South Bend, Indiana. Do you know where that is?
I think the safe bet in most of these places is there'll be a club champion somewhere near.
Let's see where South Bend is.
South Bend is just outside Chicago, isn't it?
Oh, so then you definitely want to go to club champion in Chicago then, no? That's your closest?
Yeah, True Spec have got a store there as well.
Either or?
In Chicago, either or. Both do a good job. I mean, you know, club champion in that location, that's their headquarters.
So it should be more of a flagship type experience?
Definitely their flagship.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know the guys at True Spec Chicago do. I know the boys there, they do a good job.
Yeah. Let us know how it goes, Joe.
Yep.
All right. I am going to catch up. Let's see where we are, just in case. Oh my goodness, we were literally just catching up when you were talking about Crossfield. Oh. I know a lot of people are going to hate that we were even talking about it, but guys, honestly, you've got it. You can't. I have this conversation with people all the time. You can't be a wise, balanced person in business or in life if you dismiss people too quickly based on public opinions. You need to have your own experience. You have to have your own conversations. You need to make your own sort of assessment. And, you know, I know there's people that don't like him, but it's not fair for us to just go, oh, no, can't do that.
No, I mean, the thing is with Mark and the shafts don't matter and that sort of thing, I think you guys have seen enough videos to go, if he was standing here and saw when we changed you from an Acra TZ5 75 M5 and gave you a Fuji Pro 2.06X and all of a sudden you start increasing your ball speed by 5 miles an hour, you can start releasing the club. he's not going to think at that point the shafts don't matter. So
he just has a different way of interpreting it, I think.
Definitely, and he does a lot of the testing. He's a very intuitive player. So he, as he says himself, like he will adjust very quickly to what he feels, and he will start making compensations. So interesting.
It's different.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to working with someone.
I think it's great.
Like that. And Mark's, I know he's a smart guy.
Yeah. We're just, if anyone is concerned or is worried or thinks the channel is going to change, don't worry. We're just being objective, and there's nothing wrong with collaborating and seeing what else is out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We are sort of catching up, guys.
Getting there.
We appreciate all your questions. This is a nice, busy live today.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach, for super chat.
Zach, I'm going to get your question here. 1 second. Thank you for that. He's asking about used clubs purchasing. Okay. Is there anything in particular he should be looking at when purchasing a set of used clubs? Groove marks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, you want to definitely want to pay attention to that.
Yeah. So he wants to get a full bag for around $1,500. So he's going to look in the used market. Yeah. So what people ask about this a lot. Like, it takes a lot of wear and tear for an iron to start performing poorly, right? Like, or not as intended. Yeah. It would take a fair amount of groove wear for, I think more with wedges, you would notice wedges wearing out faster than a set of irons.
For sure. There's not many people that practice hard enough to burn. I mean, I was always my objective with a set of irons.
So you want to rip a 7-iron a hole in it?
I was just dying to practice enough to start putting wear marks on. And the first set I ever done it with was a set of Titleist ZB irons.
Ooh, those were nice.
Yeah, those were really nice.
Those were a cool set of irons. So
that was the first set I had wear marks in.
Yeah.
A little wear marks in a set of 695 MBs.
Were you a Titleist guy?
I loved the Titleist iron. Loved the shape of a Titleist iron at that point.
So
used to have to hide them from the TaylorMade guys.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were a TaylorMade boy, weren't you? So Zach, I would say unlikely you're going to buy something worn out.
I would love to do that as an experiment on the channel. I'd love for us to take like a budget and go and acquire.
Okay, so before you say this, everyone's going to chime in. This is a great idea. And I know you're not taking this from anyone else, but Rick Shields and a bunch of other channels, they do this.
Oh, really?
And I think the videos are really good. Peter Finch does it. It's Golf Bidder is the one in the UK.
Golf Bidder is a big one in the UK.
And then one time they went into a shop, they had like $500 and they bought, and they're like, whose set is better? They played around to golf.
Well, it's kind of like Top Gear, isn't it?
Exactly. That's why I liked it. I'm like, this is hilarious, because it's like when Jeremy rolls up with like some crap old BMW for $2,000. We should do that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. We won't say it's our idea because those boys do it, but I think it's a great
it'd be cool for us to tune them up and get the lofts and lies adjusted, that's new set of grips.
So it's like I think that's a great idea.
Cool, isn't
it? You buy something set a budget and then see what you can do. Spend $100 on your fitting and loft and lie. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea, Zach. You inspired an idea. Thank you for your question. All right. Really far behind. Here we are. Ivan, thank you so much for that, my friend. That's very nice of you. Great question. So how much impact do grips make while being fitted? We chatted a little bit about this at the start, but we'll get into it further. He uses a mid-sized grip generally, but when he goes in for a fitting, they are standard. If this is the case, what do you recommend? Great question.
So the general answer is only really the player knows.
Yep.
So you're the only one who knows how much you're put off by using the wrong size of grips. I've got guys who play mid-size and they come in and they grab our grips that are standard size. Now we have mid-size, we have jumbo, we can build them up with tape, we can do whatever they need.
Yep.
But a lot of guys just go,
I don't
honestly,
care.
It feels fine. It feels fine. And they're hitting it good and all that sort of stuff. Only the player will truly know how much of a difference. Now, the one thing I will say, Ivan, is that if you go for a fit and it really does matter to you,
yes,
I would probably call a halt to the fit pretty soon.
Well, you need to ask and say, listen, I only use mid-size if they can't switch them out for me.
Or within a few shots, identify, go, listen, I'm really struggling here because this grip is just too small in my hands and I'm not able to make a good pass at this here.
And I think that's a good segue into what often happens and what you try to guard against is sometimes people just won't speak up about something that is bugging them during the process, or they didn't mention something to you, or they didn't ask a question, and it's actually detrimental to your process. So to some extent, a good fitter asks you all the right questions.
Yeah.
But if you don't speak up and say, listen, this grip feels weird to me, I don't think I can swing with it, can you put a mid-size on? You got to ask.
We get it.
Yeah.
Occasionally, where
someone asks and you blow it on.
Yeah, like
you do it for me sometimes.
Like Rob when he's for you for sure.
Sometimes I ask you to put on something like this.
Yeah.
That just has more texture. I play a standard size grip, but so Ivan, definitely ask your fitter to put the grip on that you'd like. There's absolutely no downside to doing that. That's for sure.
For sure.
Okay. I want to say we're caught up, but we're not. Kyle, thank you for that.
Thanks, Kyle.
I'm getting a lot of questions about these. Is that what Ricky plays? The little CBMB?
Yeah, he plays the CBMB combos. Yeah.
We haven't tested them yet.
We have not.
Are we getting them as part of our little Cobra gift bag or no?
Yeah, I think we're getting a bunch of stuff they're sending us. They're making us a little demo bag. They're sending us obviously one length. They're sending us a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's on the slow boat from China or whatever but
it's taken an amount of time that it shouldn't. Sorry, Cobra. You've been nice enough to you, Cobra. Send your stuff faster.
Absolutely.
Kyle, if we get them, we will certainly test them, but we don't want to give you an opinion on something we haven't really tested.
What's Joe tweeted me? Joe sent me something. Oh, he sent me that the link. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, let's see it. Oh, good. And Pete answered about his ball speed.
Joe's got some creative skills.
He's got the meme game. That is funny, Joe. I love that meme.
That's exactly how it happened. If I can.
Yeah, sure you can.
What camera?
Hold on. Yeah, we can do this. Okay, ready? Put it in front of this. No, that thing's pooped out. That's from Joe.
Matty Bloy. Do you know what we call that in Scotland? Swan necking.
Swan necking.
Yeah, so like if you see
we're all guilty of
a young lady catches your eye, you might do a little swan neck. That's
funny, Joe. I probably do that. My driver is really. If it was the jealous type, it would be having a hell of a time. So Pete's answered about his driver. He's got less ball speed with
the driver. Yeah, problem with the driver. Problems.
So he's striking it poorly. He's not confident in it, or it's just a bad fit.
I will promise you, I actually have never seen that.
Okay.
I've literally in all my time fitting, I've never seen someone who is got that bad of a driver. So that tells me your driver is pretty horrendous.
So he needs to revisit it entirely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
I know we're live, guys, but
gotta eat.
Forgive me.
Boy, gotta eat.
Forgive me. Okay.
Jason, thank you.
Jason, thank you for this. Very nice of you. Let's get your question up.
Oh, a club head speed of 94, ball speed of 134. I take it we're talking about 6 irons, yeah. Carry 197. So those are kind of your numbers-ish.
He's hitting it good, isn't he?
Yeah, not too bad.
Does that spin a little bit low?
Spins a fraction low, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend? I would recommend...
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I would recommend definitely putting a little more loft on there. So try and get that spin rate up into like the 53, 5400 range. The problem with those irons though is they're so fast. Like for Jason there at 134 ball speed, I mean it's almost maybe a little bit too quick
compared to his club head speed.
No, it's okay. 194. Yeah, actually, would be pretty quick for that.
Sounds like he's getting a lot out of it.
Trapping it a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, loft. You're de-lofting it a fair amount by the looks of it, Jason. So I would add some loft back on there.
To the irons themselves.
If you got fit into those, if you haven't bought them yet, I'd maybe look at a different head. I'd maybe look at an iron head that wasn't quite as fast.
But if he has bought them already, a degree of loft, do you think?
Yeah, I would have them. I'd be playing those at about 31 degrees of loft.
Okay.
Which would be probably 2 weak for that head.
Yeah.
Standard at 29.
In terms of a golf ball, though, I know what you're saying. Loft is the preferred route, but a golf ball would just be the highest spinning ball that you can find.
Yeah.
Chrome soft or something.
Cut blue.
Oh, we're wrecking another video.
No, we're not.
I know.
Cut blue. Good ball.
Good ball. You need some spin, Jason? Cut blue.
That's the answer.
All right. People are liking your used club idea.
Yeah?
Yeah. Pimp my clubs.
Well, let's see Johnny Hutzler. What's Johnny saying? Let's go back down. With the new swing changes that both of you guys incorporated, have either of you noticed that you now require a different bend profile to account for the swing changes, aka less wrist hinge? So you go first on that one. It's a very good question, Johnny boy.
You want me to answer a question about shaft profiles?
Well, not so much like do you require a different bend profile? Have you found that since you changed the swing, the shaft you used to like no longer?
Yes. I think when I first came in, you're gonna have to clean this answer up because I'm literally just pulling this out of my ass. But when I first came in, I felt that I was very steep and hingy, and that's why a very heavy, stiff shaft regulated my ball flight.
Yeah.
Then when I started working with Larry, shallowed things out big time, less wrist hinge, I gravitated to something a lot smoother. I guess maybe not as extreme with the Nippons. Is this?
Well, you done something that was very sort of intuitive at the time with the shaft you had, but there just was there's so much bad information out there that you'd went about it, unfortunately in the wrong way, because you were using an Aldila Phenom.
In the driver,
the grey Phenom, and you'd cut it down. So you're using 70X, so you go, okay, I've got heavy, I've got stiff, I'll cut it down, that'll become more accurate. When that's a soft profile anyway, very true. You went super light, so I think the thing was playing like C5 or something like that.
It was poorly balanced.
There was, so as soon as we changed you out of that, I still remember it was into an M1 with a Curating XT 70TX. And remember, we took it down to the PGA show.
Played it in Florida.
Which was great. And it was a bit of a transition, though, wasn't it? It was because we didn't play that many rounds that year.
But it was what was interesting about it was that it removed the needs for all these. I'm not saying my swing was great at the time, but I was making so many compensations just to hit any decent shots. And then with that driver, I could really just actually hit the ball. So that, I would say, yes, that would be my input for that, John, is that the wrist hinge thing, I had no control over the club face. I would sometimes hit an iron with the face wide open. Another time I would just come across it and just wipe the thing. So the face control aspect, I guess, makes a difference to what you end up being fit for, doesn't it?
I would say we started at very different points, though.
Your swing was in a lot better spot than mine.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of like my equipment was a lot closer to what I needed than
true. That's true.
Yeah, so your equipment had to change a lot. So I would say, can you still use similar shafts to what we used at the start, even when the swing was? You probably could, and I know, to be honest, I'm still really liking the same bend profile, soft in the butt section, stiffer in the tip section. I've always really gravitated towards that smooth into stiff curve. So mine hasn't changed too much, John, to be honest.
Interesting.
We're trying to work in some swing changes, and I haven't really changed my driver. No. I've just added a fraction of loft back to the driver.
You're just hitting it better.
Yeah, I'm just making a better swing at it.
But I think for you especially, your tempo and stuff hasn't really changed.
No, it hasn't. I mean, I still throw it a little bit, and which is, Larry's like, lose the wrist angles. He's like, get, lose the, because I was always so preoccupied with creating lag, and he's like, no, he's like, I want you to, same way, he's like, I want you to kind of get wider in the downswing, lose the. I mean, the lag is the word that people are going to relate to, isn't it? So they want us to. Larry calls it down hinging, but most people relate it to lag. And I was always trying to do more of that, and he's like, he wants me to get more there, which is so fascinating. Because I mean, I took lessons for 10 years trying to do the opposite.
You're exactly the same. Yeah, and I was trying to hinge the club as much as I could in the backswing. Well,
that was it. You were really you really set it on the backswing.
Like I looked at, I was answering a comment in an old video, and I looked at a couple shots. I was just like, who is that person?
Still like to release clips, even the old versus the new, even like a little.
Should make a little compilation.
Yeah,
videos are so
a little evolution.
Yeah, we'll do a swing video. You're right. You got some yeses on that last week.
Yeah.
Good question, John. Thanks for that. You sparked a discussion.
Was today supposed to be the full TXG crew? No, you're right.
You're right. We had to postpone it a bit, but it is still coming.
It is
observant,
coming.
Mark.
Yes.
Very observant.
Yep. The guys will be here.
You are very absurd.
We had different things. One had a Nexus appointment, and one was doing something. Mikey.
Is that because he saw me burning through that immigration line?
Yeah, it must have been.
See you, Mikey.
Yeah.
As he's filling out his form. Love a Nexus.
Anyone know what Matt or Ian's handicap is?
Yeah, we can tell you that.
What's your cap?
1.6.
So technically,
or 1.5 or something. Yeah, 1.5.
So my cap is, I think, ended last year like plus 0.5 or something.
Yeah,
like
you broke the barrier.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
So I was plus a little bit, but I wanted to get to plus 2. That was where I wanted to get. I just didn't play enough golf to practice enough to get there. I actually played okay when I played, but I didn't practice enough.
I'm going to bully you this year. You're playing golf.
Yeah.
I will bully you all year if you don't play enough golf. You could easily be a plus 2 or a plus 3.
Yeah, but I mean, certainly the courses kind of around here, there's not too many that are super tough where it's not windy and stuff like that. It's tough to be like a
I agree with that.
Plus 2 if
you play in tough conditions.
Rough conditions.
No, Ontario summers are very stable.
Very friendly. I mean, the courses that where Mike and I play out west side of the GTA, Rattlesnake Point and stuff. All the par 5s you can get them easy. Couple of short par 4s. So no excuses to be.
As long as you don't have weaknesses in. You're comparing it, I'm assuming, to home, like in Scotland, where if you're not a good wind player, you're going to be a 40 handicap.
The course, my home course, and that I grew up playing is 5,800 yards.
Is it really?
Like in try-break and par round that thing.
Yeah, you have no chance.
Like I would have way more chance at 7,000 yards at Rattlesnake.
That's crazy.
Than I would at 5,800 yards at Helensburgh, where I'm from.
Just because it's so windy.
So tough.
That's cool.
Yep.
It was a Cliff Bar, Marco.
Question for Ian Matt. What is your dynamic loft with the driver? Sweet spot with the dynamic loft on GC Quad is about 18 degrees of delivered loft.
Yep.
That's about what we look for.
I think mine is actually surprisingly around there lately. Mine used to be like 12.
Yeah, I know.
My ball.
Jay, who was in to see us last week from LA, if you need a set of irons with some wear marks.
Was that the...
Did you see that?
Did you see that picture? So those were Jay's?
That's wild, wasn't it?
So he really got his mileage out of those.
That's
awesome.
So Jay was at the Leadbetter Academy as a youngster.
Okay.
And just said he just hit...
He must have hit a lot of balls.
Tens of thousands of golf balls. Like, right. I took a look at them and I'm like, did you get these... Like,
they
did you
like
either practice a lot or did you grind them?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. He's like, I just practiced a ton.
Wild.
Especially they're not forged. Like
no,
I've seen,
iron.
I've seen like wear marks into fours. I've actually seen people put like slightly concave the face on an iron. But he'd worn the grooves away in his wedges and stuff like that. There was literally no grooves on the wedges.
It's a man who knows how to work hard. Was that on your Instagram or your?
It was on. I think it was Instagram.
Look at Ian's Instagram. It's a crazy picture. Caleb, thank you for this, my friend. I'm going to see if you have a question. I don't know if you do. That's very nice of you. In any case, we will look and see if you have a question. Caleb. Okay, no. You don't, but if you do, please let us know. We are watching closely. Excuse me. Joe is asking, what a better hybrid for the fitting process? This is a great question. 818H1 or Ping G410?
Ooh.
Would be an easy question last year, wouldn't it?
I would say G410.
Really?
Because H1 being a wider body launches pretty high, so I think that the shape of 410 will probably suit a little bit of a wider audience.
Okay.
I love both the Titleist hybrids.
So
I really do. I think the H1 and H2 at the right time is perfect. I think if someone's not really in love with a hybrid and they prefer Fairway, if someone's not really in love with a hybrid, but you don't want to get them into like a 5 or 7 wood.
Okay.
The slightly wider body on the H1 is always my go-to.
Right.
So
H2 is the small one?
H2 is the small one. H1 is the bigger one.
Gotcha.
So it depends, Joe, really, to be honest. But I would say for most people, to cover a wider sort of group of golfers, the G410.
I thought the G410 hybrid was really, really good.
Yeah.
If that means anything to you, Joe. Mike. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mike. Mike sounds like he is reading out of my playbook here. So Mike is a lefty.
Uh-huh.
Has a tendency to hook.
Yeah.
Sounds like me. Doesn't like a closed face.
Yeah.
He's asking about the Mizuno 190 or the F9. So any driver suggestions with neutral or slightly open face with standard lofts? Okay, well, I'll start.
Okay.
Mike, you will love Mizuno ST190 because it looks very open.
That was the first thing came to my mind.
Even at standard.
Is just how open that driver looks.
F9 does not look that open set at standard.
Or closed. Even when you open or close it, it does not seem to really, which some people will like.
Yeah, I will take a bit of a leap and say, if you really like an open driver, you will not like the F9 because you can't make it look open.
The counter to it, I would say, though, is that F9 naturally spins a little bit higher. So when you start to curve it, having a little more backspin could be something that's pretty friendly as well. That's a very good point.
The G410 you can make sit as open as anything on earth. And I'm sure when the LST comes out, it will sit open.
Yeah, it will do for sure.
But for now, Mike, I would look at the ST190. That thing sits probably exactly the way you would like it to. Yeah, if I had to guess. Just gonna see if we got. Okay. All right. Let's take a few more. We should film a couple videos. This is good. We've been on for 2 hours with our little interruption. Want to take a few more?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's take this from Julian really quick.
Julian, New York City area, where would I recommend? I would recommend seeking out young Doug Emma at True Spec. It's right by Central Station.
Is that the one that's
the
right
flagship
downtown?
Store? It's where the old Emigrant Bank used to be.
It's a cool building.
It's a really, really cool building. So Doug, I know very well. He runs that location for True Spec. So go see Dougie. He will take great care of you. He's a super lad.
Awesome. All right. This is an interesting question.
Julian asked.
Oh, you want to take that?
Well, just someone just saying the same thing. Got fit at True Spec in December. Outstanding facility. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Good to hear. Okay, so Leslie's asking an interesting question because we were just talking about lead tape. So
right.
MP18s are blades, right? MP18s are blades.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hot melt or otherwise.
Yeah.
He wants to get your head weight up without lead tape. What are your options?
I mean, you can put weight down the shaft. You can use obviously tip weights.
So that's a process that I don't think too many people understand.
Yeah,
and I'm
for
certainly
sure.
one of them. You literally put tungsten powder down here?
Some people will use that. Now, if you use tungsten powder, you can be very exact about what you get the swing weight to.
Okay.
Other people will use brass tip weights, so you'll actually slip a little slug up into the shaft.
Wow.
So that's what a little tip weight is.
That's cool.
It's a little brass. They come in anywhere from 2 to 14 grams, somewhere in that region.
Your higher end club builders should be able to do that for them?
Yeah, no problem. Not a problem, Leslie. If you
that
take
is your
that
answer,
to
Leslie.
someone, take that to someone who knows what they're up to, that'll be easy work.
If you live in Toronto, take it to Mikey.
Today's Q&A seriously hurt my brain.
Parnup is a very good regular. Thanks for tuning in, pal.
Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's from Thailand.
Very cool.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome.
So it is 2 o'clock in the morning over there, I think.
Wow.
I think
that's maybe what's hurting Parnup's brain rather than the...
Not sleeping. Okay. Let's take a few more. Mm-hmm. I like that you guys are having your own conversations in the chat. It's great. As much as we try to get to questions, it's great when you guys kind of chat back and forth as well.
For sure.
We are doing our best, though. Lots
talking about getting a moderator for the chat. That would be good, wouldn't it?
Someone that can take questions that we don't answer.
Yeah. One of our team.
I think that would be fantastic. I'm sure you guys would love that. Let's take this really quick because I know we have an answer to this. So Brett went to get fit, which is good. Mm-hmm. Glad to hear that. Maybe wasn't quite what he was hoping for.
Right.
And so he's asking what he should be looking for when he's probably going to go back again. So, Brett, there's a video we created called How to Get the Best Out of Your Fitting. It's a solid 20-minute video.
It's a good long one, that one, actually.
I don't remember if I did that with you or it was you
and
Mikey.
You and I.
Was it me and you?
Yeah.
It was very, very good. Lots of good discussion. That is your best bet. We're not going to recreate as good as that chat is right
now.
What
did we go through? 10 points
at least. Yeah. You had a nice long list.
We had 10 points of different things to look for, how to prepare. Whether it be asking questions, because one thing I will always say is it is the player's responsibility as well to come to the fitting prepared.
That's an important point, isn't it?
Whether that's having hit balls, whether that's with a short list of clubs that you wish to try, because the fitter might have their own sort of personal favourites, and you maybe have ones that you want to try. Don't leave there disappointed that you didn't try the ones you liked and then email in after you go home. That can happen sometimes.
Good point.
Make sure you kind of engage with your fitter, and hopefully they're open enough and they make you comfortable enough. That's the key from the fitter standpoint. Make sure there's enough dialogue between you and the player that at the end of it, my question is always, is there anything more you want to know? Is there anything more that we haven't touched on today?
That's a great question.
Can we close this time together with anything else that's going to give you more value?
Because I think sometimes people feel bad, like, I've asked this guy so many questions, and that's it's not unfair to make sure as long as if you book an hour session, don't keep someone for 3 hours. But
for sure,
if the person gives you the opportunity to ask, some closing ones, don't leave without asking them.
I love that question by Sam.
Yeah, I was just about to click that.
Yeah. So
Sam is asking, if you could play with any professional golfer, past and present, who would they be? And what course? Well, that's interesting.
The course is an easy one for me.
Okay, where?
Augusta.
Okay. Now, I'm going to totally derail this. I keep hearing that playing Augusta, unless it's Masters Week, is like not at all like playing at Augusta that you see on TV. Would that bug you?
A few people have said that you have an expectation. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be there at Masters Week and obviously see the condition it's in. It's ridiculous. But we do have customers. I've got a customer going down tomorrow to play it. And most of them say that it's still ridiculous.
Yeah, so you're still going to get a cool Masters experience.
Still going to get, it's still, really good shape. The greens are still super fast. Just be certain things like, maybe the fairways aren't quite mowed to the same precision.
Because you would just have these, and part of it is the expectations would be so ridiculous that all you can really do is be disappointed by anything, right?
I know.
Okay, so you're playing at Augusta.
So I'm playing at Augusta.
Who's your golfer?
Tiger.
Okay,
Yeah, Hogan.
Oh, so you're doing one. Okay, so Tiger's your present and Hogan's your past. Okay,
playing with my past golfer. Yeah.
Where would I play? I would probably play at. I'm gonna pick somewhere I've never been as well. I just haven't played enough courses to really know where I'd want to go.
Would you?
I really want to play at. Kapalua.
Interesting. That is not as a curveball.
I know.
I was waiting for. I thought you were going to say the old course. Thought you were.
I do want to play in Scotland. I do. I just part of it is that I've driven past Kapalua, I've looked, and I just wasn't able to. We were there for vacation. Part of it is I want to go so bad because I know it's like an accessible thing that I could do. But yeah, I would love to play the old course as well.
We should go do it with Mike Clausen. Go and see Mike and play with Mike at Kapalua.
So those would be, I would say either or, and I'd play with Tiger as my present, and I would probably want to play with I'd play with Arnold Palmer.
Nice.
I have a soft spot for Arnie.
Nice.
Good question, Sam.
Very good. I like that one. A little different.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take one more.
We'll get that. That's a quick one.
Yeah, Pete, if you're coming in from out of town, what's best for Pete?
Many of our customers do come in from out of town, Pete. So you can contact us through our online booking app, through the website. You can actually book straight up on the TXG website. You can call us. You can give us a buzz and talk to Rosanna, who's our customer service rep, who can book you in. So she can answer any questions you've got about services or timing or cost or anything like that. So
perfect. Yeah.
She's fantastic.
It's txg.ca, Pete.
Yeah, nice and easy one.
Go to txg.ca. Joe, you are a beauty. Couldn't agree more, Joe. Joe's talking about the community section on Patreon. So as we grow that community, I'm noticing it too, and I like to see this. The community page, I'm seeing people posting stuff. They're asking fellow members.
It's good.
It's a mini forum of sorts.
Yeah.
I think Patreon has some work to do on the user interface. It could get better in terms of notifications. But yeah, Joe, I would 100% agree with that. Very dedicated fans of golf. People love equipment on there. They ask all kinds of great questions.
Well, it really was something that when we looked prior to I even knew what Patreon was. I wanted to create like some kind of forum, like a TXG community forum where we could literally do just that. People could talk about experiences or clubs or different things that they'd found with their own equipment or testing. Just somewhere to go and just talk golf.
And I should say, we could still build out a more robust forum app.
Yeah.
That isn't housed on Patreon, but it would be exclusive to Patreon members. That's still an option.
Sure.
To me, I think Patreon needs to do a bit better job on their software. But Joe, if you can probably chime in. Forums, coming from another forum, it's not like that functionality-wise, but we can and possibly will build that out. Now, Caleb, I see your message here, but I don't see a question. Can you
maybe repeat that?
Yeah, can you put it below, because I scrolled up and I couldn't see it. So just re-ask us that. Yeah, Whiskers. No, so this is Whisker talking about the Discord server. I think there actually is something either in beta testing or similar with Patreon. So keep an eye on it's one of many things we'll be working on. This stuff it's funny that you guys are in tune with things that I've been thinking about for a couple of weeks. Let's take this. Good general question. So asking about, we know the advantages of high ball speed forgiving irons. What are the disadvantages that you see?
Inconsistent distance control.
Okay.
That's always going to be that would be the downside of it.
It's just about the only thing that would really be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I played for a little while there. When I first saw the 5.65s and 7.65s and how close they looked, I thought, well, I'm going to give the 5.65s a try, because why wouldn't I give myself more forgiveness if it looks the same?
Yeah.
And I'm not giving up anything on the
downside.
offset or anything like that.
Yep.
And then I got them on the course. Obviously, we're taking a one-piece head in the Forge, and we're taking a two-piece head in the 5.65s. And then all of a sudden, I would hit one and I'd just flush it, and then you'd airmail the green, and you'd get an extra little spike in ball speed. It just wouldn't quite regulate the ball speed that I was looking for at the speed I swing at.
Which makes sense, yeah.
But if you're that type of player and you analyse your game and you can be honest enough to go, I've probably never been over the back of the green unless I hit halfway up the golf ball.
And that's an honest conversation that not enough people have.
And people should have that. So if that's the case, and you don't ever really hit it over the back, go with a nice hot iron. Go with something that gives you a little bit of speed. Because
more often than not, if you're coming up short, then what are you worrying about the flyer for?
For sure.
I just missed one. Kayla, if you're still on, I haven't seen your question yet, but if you can fire that to us.
If we can get it.
Sam, that's nice of you again. Thank you.
Thanks
Sam. Again for that question. That was
Thanks,
good.
Buddy. That's awesome.
Oh, Kapalua is closed for maintenance. Well, I'm not going anytime soon, so I want to go at Christmas 2019. So Kapalua, finish your work.
Chase and I were talking about going to Hawaii this Christmas. Oh, well, a little
room for a little lodge down by the water.
We were talking about that.
Well, if you want to know where to stay, I know the best place I've ever been in my life. I've never liked anything more than that in my life. Never.
Interesting.
I think we're definitely going to go. So the only argument is my better half wants to go pre-Christmas.
Right.
Miss Christmas. And I've said no to that. You got to do family Christmas. So I kind of want to go like Boxing Day.
Yeah, that makes sense. Isn't it a lot more expensive to go Boxing Day?
Disgustingly.
Is it really?
Disgustingly so. What's the price?
The family will still be there when you come back.
Dude, you know about family guilt as much as I do.
I know.
My mother.
Fly back to Scotland to see.
She will not be pleased. No, but I love Christmas Day. Yeah. I love like Christmas, but
I love Christmas Day as well.
All right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
I can't see Caleb's question.
You can leave you're going to see this probably. So Caleb, leave your question in the comments after the stream is done, and we will 100% get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're going to log off. Ian's going to hit some balls.
Do some practice.
He's going to warm up. I'm going to get the other camera set up, and Johnny's talking about Grand White Lake. Johnny, you been to? I do hear that's nice.
Oh, Joe. Johnny Golf WRX, great work in the swing with Larry. You're my spirit animal.
Yeah, they had a little some similarities.
That's
apparently.
awesome.
That's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people identify with Johnny's little what's that?
Who's that character sneaking in there?
Lindsay, my wife.
I support you, Linz. I'm down for.
No, she's saying skip Christmas Day.
Yeah,
you don't support that.
Nah, I would skip Christmas Day because I don't have family here. So I would. Tracy and I would definitely. We want to spend Christmas in the sun.
My phone's lighting up.
I know. This is amazing.
This is hilarious. She's loving this. I thought you were busy at work. We're going to Maui for Christmas.
We are.
Maui Kalikimaka.
Sounds like a vlog to me. Kapalua vlog.
Dude, there's so many nice golf courses there.
What's the other ones? I don't know any of the other ones on. What island? I don't even know what island.
Maui. That's Maui.
Yeah,
so I'd be busy eating the whole time on the beach. 1 round of golf a day. Well, there's 2 courses at Kapalua, I'm pretty sure. There's
1 round a day. I could live with that.
Yeah, 1 round a day. You spend the rest of the day at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny says he's played Grand Wailea 50 times, so it must be good. I should look up what other golf courses. Me and Lindsay played golf at. We stayed at a hotel. You would have loved this. They had a 3-hole pitch and putt of their own, so like 100-yard holes.
So good.
You played barefoot with like an old wedge. No one's around.
See, the problem with that is Trace and I have this running joke
That you'll move.
No, that anywhere we go and we do that sort of stuff, whether it's putt or like a little short course, she always wins. And she's not hitting.
Stop it.
She's not hitting good golf shots. She's literally like hitting it off a rock.
Tracy, I hope you're not
between
watching.
trees. Yeah, she won't be watching.
I know you're not watching.
She's not watching. But she always.
But she makes a good score.
Yeah, like she'll I'll give her some strokes and stuff.
Yeah.
And always towards the end, it's too clear, and I have to start trying. I stop talking to her and start really hustling.
And then the 4 of us go to dinner.
I'll give her a little nudge at the top of her back.
No one's speaking. You're jingling your keys.
Oh man.
No, you'd love this place.
Sounds good. We need to do it.
All right, Lindsay, go back to work.
That's funny.
Cracking me up though. Look at her. This is hilarious. Okay.
Team gang up in Matty here.
I know. Oh, I've heard about this. Johnny saying McKenna. Yeah, there's some serious golf out there. Plus, you can, if you want to go to a different island. Lanai. There's a Four Seasons Lanai.
Right.
The island is tiny. There's like 1 hotel and a golf course. I think Matt Janella went once, but it's like this crazy cool exclusive little experience. There's a bunch of places. The comments are getting filled with suggestions. So
good.
We're gonna sign off and plan a trip to Maui now. Because it is the place to be.
Think of a trip somewhere because
I know.
As Hurricane Frederick blows the doors down, that was wild.
It was well. Anyone in Western New York and New York State, hopefully you guys are okay.
I spoke to a friend of mine that called me last night. Rick,
trees were coming
Kennedy,
down.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, was he alright?
Rough.
I saw some video of like 100-foot pines falling on someone's house. So hopefully everyone's okay.
Bubba Watson shaft review, little bi-matrix.
Can we get one?
We can.
Okay.
Because it's easy to get one because we can get him to send us the lefty driver with it in it.
That's right. Can I get the paint job? Mm-hmm. Nigel, that's a maybe. Okay, we're ending on this. So one of the reasons I love Hawaii so much is it does have McDonald's. You can go to the beach.
Would go to McDonald's, wouldn't you?
I've been to McDonald's in Maui. It's great. Why wouldn't you? I'm there for 10 days.
You're talking to the wrong person. Why wouldn't you? Why would you is the question.
Because I like it.
Yeah, it's true. And do you know what? That is the right answer to that question. It is though. It is though, isn't it?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Because I like it. Because I want to.
Because I'm on vacation and I like enjoying myself.
Nothing else you can say to that. So true. Ever thought of Pinehurst Resort? I would love to go to Pinehurst.
So would
do you know what? It's actually the resort I want to visit the most.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, maybe Bandon Dunes. I'd love to go to Bandon. Kiowa was good.
I want to go to Cabot Links too.
Yeah. But Pinehurst I would really like to go to.
Yep.
For sure.
All right. Why don't we call it a day? Who's that? Oh,
man.
That's the package delivery. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to go film a couple videos, and we will see you next week.